Hello all and welcome. I'm your not so humble game master, and this is Dice of Ages presenting CrestVahllen Campaign 3, C3. Welcome all. We're not going to do too much announcements, but we will get it right into our questions and challenges. Do you have a challenge for me?
No, I have a question.
Sure.
Is that garlic bread?
That's toast.
That's toast. This is toast.
That's too
If
cute.
you guys were watching the one shot at all, this is toast.
I like
And he's
toast.
like, he's become a bit of the de facto Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man for the one shot.
Oh wait, did they
It's like-
fight it?
Yeah, yeah, kind of. It was there was this whole like Gozer name the give the name of your destroyer type of thing. It was kind of fun.
I identify
so-
with toast.
Yeah.
Without further ado, then, does anybody have any challenges for world
Scheduling
inspirations?
for this was a bit of a challenge.
Okay, for me,
I don't take enough notes to have a good challenge.
this is what my incentive to try to get you guys to take better notes.
Oscar has a -1 intelligence modifier. He
That
can't
doesn't
recall
matter.
a lot of things.
What is
I'm just
does Alex have a negative one?
I'm playing in
intelligence
character. If I limit the amount of knowledge that I know, I can't metagame as Oscar.
If you
Whoa.
write it down,
Wait a
then
minute.
you can still remember.
If you're
and that way
here-
it stops putting the burden on a bunch of other
Then
people.
who is
I don't know,
this?
I feel like this is more authentic.
Hi, Lee.
All right, sit. Let's go. We gotta go.
That's Elio.
So
I just
then
thought
I have a
your
challenge.
personality was a bit flat today.
Yeah, a little bit.
Can you sit, please? And then I have a challenge for you guys. Then, question: does anybody remember? Leaf, you can't answer this one. Does anybody remember what was given to the disheveled tent mate? What gift was given to the disheveled tent mate of Talio?
A patch off of their cloak.
That's correct. You can take one. Good for you. I forgot that at one point, so I didn't realize until I started rewatching it. Okay, you can take that one. I've got one more then. Does anyone remember how many years it's been since
Oh, no.
from
69.
769
Oh.
years?
You
That's
You can have that
correct.
one. I got the other one.
See,
You can give it if you'd like to.
hey, I told you I'm taking better notes.
Wonderful. Okay, cool. Those are my
I
two
just forgot to give them
questions.
to Melly.
Does anybody have any challenges?
I gave you a really crappy paragraph of what happened. I don't know if you saw
I
it.
did the best I could.
Hello, welcome back. So, Dice of Ages, presenting CrestVahllen. I'm your not so humble game master TJ, and we are playing campaign 3, C3. So last we left off, the rest of you guys were caught in a embroiled battle it didn't start out that way. You guys were in this kind of mushroom hut abode thing. It was kind of like a house that kind of looked like it was built like the shape of a mushroom.
Yeah.
You met this odd gnomish individual that seemed to have like mycelial foam growing on their back. Talio was restored with some help, perhaps rather unconventionally, some requests for gray matter and brain. But Len went to go check out a red velvet chair, and it zipped open with a toothy maw with some slime, and it tried to bite you. And that kind of set everybody off to get defensive as some of the other furniture started to come alive, mimic style. Tensions flared, weapons flew, and the fireplace, the mantle, began to swell and encapsulate the circumference of the first floor, and flame tongues and iron maws began to be shown with jaws and heat as things started to get hotter. The gnomish, somewhat fungal gnomish, you're not really sure it was like either they were zombie-ish or they weren't quite Ankyline style. They tried to de-escalate the situation, but to no avail. It kind of fell on deaf ears for you guys. But eventually you guys retreated after killing some furniture and tearing some rugs up because the patterns were not to your liking. Soon after, the hut kind of had shrunk style and uprooted itself and walked into one of the cracks, leaving the nicely somewhat mycelial garden and walkway just there. It just left. You hail down a kobold-looking mycelial individual that guides you to a place where you can have a nice rest because you requested so. Eventually, you find yourself near an assortment of tents and some hay. What do you call it? Like beds, or just like roll-outs.
Straw pallet.
Straw pallets, something like that. Yes. And as you do so, some conversations start to happen as you try to figure out like who's sleeping where. Oscar passes out immediately because he's very tired. Len begins to have some recollections of some of his earlier studies during his time in the Oriolor estate with his mentor. Without revealing too much, he studied a lot with learning about creatures and old archaic texts, and he had somebody that so there was a cycle of books always coming in, and he read some books about a conspiracy theorist that talked about how the longevity of the Aeon box is actually perhaps has another factor to it, and then perhaps are very similar to Einstein's theory of relativity and gravity, are the bowling ball in the fabric of space-time and cause some type of gravity that distorts that type of fabric to the point where they may be able to influence it in some type of way just because they live so long.
Okay.
And also we found out the elven actual longevity of full elves is a well-kept secret. Even to elves themselves, very few of them actually know when they're actually supposed to
With their lifespan.
expire. Yeah, it's so well kept, and Len enlightens you to the fact, and Bast information enlightens you to the fact that that probably has something to do with the fact of the ancient Celendian Empire and the war, and them not wanting to have to know on the other side how long they would possibly live because of diseases, genophages, and other possibly things. A war is not who has the most forces, but who has the most information is who wins wars. So, you also learn some history between Trellius and Ehrenbach, and the feud that happened there, and the whole hosting the Grand Masquerade, and how that not-so-cold war happened. You had some time with Talio Bast, where Talio casted invisibility on you, and for a fleeting moment, whereas was able to see the infection of this Icarus creature, parasite, you're not sure what, along your shoulder before it was gone, and it adapted that quickly. Things are learned and inferred upon that this is a purely biological creature, not magical in any nature. Highly evolved and extremely adaptable, meaning the more chances it has to adapt and the more adversity is given, the stronger it becomes and the better it gets at what it is. So it's an extremely dangerous entity because of that, because it just gets better and better and better the more weaknesses on it you point out. So, at that moment, Talio then took a moment to connect with the Anki O-line network, the mycelial network that connects all of these fungal platforms, receiving a wealth of information about the Ehrenbach estate itself, its layout, where people walk, their guard rotations, patrols, because they have an undercover intern from the archives that is a half-elven woman but doesn't look like they're from them. They look alive, and they're undercover. And so we have an inside person.
Oh, well, Talio has an inside person.
Yeah, Talio appeared, as far as I know, is the only one that has been connected to the Anki Line network, to my knowledge.
I mean, the subscription costs extra.
You got it at premium, right?
There's penalties involved.
You got to keep the screen on, or the music stops playing.
Yeah. And there's so many ads.
They also realize that this is a risky thing to do, and the more times they attempt that, the more times they risk permanent brain damage, because it is just such a strain on the neural pathways of one individual to try to encapsulate and even fathom such a large hive mind. But they pretty much have all the information you need to run a heist there if you would want to go through records and that type of thing. You also know that wing where the records are is the same wing, and there's only 2 rooms away from the Lord and Lady Ehrenbach's bedchambers themselves, so it's not going to be an easy feat, most likely. But Maeve also mentioned that there could be possibility, the chance of calling upon the favor that she has still been yet to be reciprocated from many, many years ago, from a tailoring job that you did for a dress. All that being said, Talio enters the tent and gives a patch to their disheveled tent mate, which is received as a much grander gift than any of you really understand, just because you are anachronistic in the moment. You're not entirely aware of the way this culture is, but because resources are so scarce, even a gift of almost anything is a bit of more of a symbolic gesture of, all of us almost have nothing, I give you something, that's my everything. It's kind of becomes a bit of a gesture of a sacred union. And so they accept, and Talio's like, wait, what? And we moved away from that in that moment to leave you on a cliffhanger.
And they saw it as a dowry.
And they saw it as a part of a dowry, even though it was just a patch, just because resources are so scarce nowadays. At the same time, you were finishing up your watch, which was the last watch. You enter back in the tent to go check in with Bast as you were trying to repair some of Talio's clothes. And you witness Bast awaken in a cold sweat, but not just a cold sweat, but salty, blackish ice crusting upon their body. They look bluer than usual. And for Bast to be cold is extremely abnormal, and you become aware of this. And even Bast himself is more aware of this. Not only that, you trace your hand across your chest to where the parasite, the Icarus parasite, was before, and you feel the pulsing, a beating, it was exactly in sync with your own heartbeat. Like it's starting to become more a part of you entirely. And that's where we left off. At the moment, everybody does receive a long rest. If you guys haven't already, you can get your stuff back. Even Talio gets a long rest because I believe they are more or less kind of drowsy when they are taken off. For you guys to know that when you awaken, Talio is not there, neither their tent mate. We spoke about this before, but they have kind of been in the haste of like, dowry, oh, you gotta meet the parents, all this type of thing, just really excited, first thing in the morning, let's go type of thing. And because you entered the tent while you were on watch, this wasn't something that you witnessed. Although I believe you still.
TJ.
What's up? Oh, I've messed up this whole thing.
No.
Okay, well, that was just the recap, so we can.
That's okay. It was just the recap. Doesn't matter too much because I will put the recorded recap up on the Discord, so don't worry about it. But
Okay. So.
you, with your passive perception, I will give you the fact that you, at the very least, do hear the sounds of Sable, because Sable's a large creature.
Yes.
Departing at a not necessarily a rapid pace, but it wasn't a meandering or a walking. It was like.
Yes. Out of character, am I
Sure.
allowed to give some motivation for Talio?
In
In
what way?
terms of they were picked up by our party, one thing happened after the next, and possibly saw this as an opportunity to just stability.
Possibly. I mean, that's up to Talio.
To get away from
That's
our
fair.
chaos.
And that's also not something that you may know.
Oh, that's what I mean, out of character as Ree, and someone.
I don't
who
want
knows
to take
Leaf.
too much agency away, so I think that's more up to like Leaf and Talio. But it
Okay.
could very well possibly be the fact that would happen. I will say, just to kind of move things along here, I will say that if you took any moment to hearing that, kind of looking outside, maybe seeing the last of Sable, probably not. Looking at the tracks, you are an adept type of person where you have traveled the wilds for a long time. Nowhere near as adept as
Len would probably
Len
know
would be,
more.
but still enough to survive. Exactly.
Okay.
But you don't sense a struggle
Yeah.
No hostility, nobody chasing somebody. This appears to be, at the very least, unexpected and the best copacetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
So that's where you guys are.
All right, so we're all waking up from our whatever we as high elf, plant dude, water elf, that guy. The amount of sleep that we need.
Slept like a rock.
On a rock.
Of course.
Did anyone
In
see
a
where our
rock?
little cat friend went? Nobody?
You do have a direction if that's something you wanted.
I mean, let's see. You two were in a tent together, and we were, and then Talio was in that third one. I look in the third tent.
There are 2 cots that are empty. They also appear to be like pushed as far as they possibly can to the edge so that the canvas is stretching around them. And you see that there's a nice indentation in the center. Your instincts are telling you Sable was in here.
A large creature
How?
slept here.
Yeah. And just kind of pushed everything away.
Some like cat fur on the.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like a magical creature, so like leaving stuff is like, but yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Does anyone plan to be up to something? I could go look for where a friend walked off to. Maybe just to look around.
Bast would probably not be interacting with you guys very much at the moment. He's wrapped in a blanket and constantly like trying to heat it up through magic to warm himself up.
I have a question.
Because I remember correctly, like I was like
Cold.
Yeah.
like to the bone,
Yeah.
frozen.
Not anything that would affect you mechanically,
Right.
but it's extremely uncomfortable. Have you left the cot? Or are you still, or the bed, or whatever?
If I
you
remember
were?
correctly, I wrapped a blanket around myself and I started using prestidigitation
I mean, like right now.
to heat the blanket up. So I'm curled under my heated blanket, like,
Okay.
just trying to.
Still in the tent, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Len, I mean, I don't see a sign of a struggle. Bast is clearly going through it right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over and wave a hand in front of your face. Bast, are you alright?
I'm still Bast. Other than that, I can't make many promises.
Are you freezing? You're shivering.
Yes.
Why?
I woke up coated in ice. I don't know. Probably something to do with the thing that's living inside me.
Oh dear. Can you walk? Can you get up and move around?
Yeah, probably.
You attempt to stand up. You feel like the creaking and snapping of like ice when you take it out of, you snap it outside of the ice cube tray as he unlocks his knees and begins to put them over the cot to try to stand up, and you see the brackish, salty, crusty ice. It's not the same type as like real, it's that flaky type of condensation ice that's almost, once it hits the ground, it becomes more salt than any type of other liquid, and just leaves a salt type of residue. But you feel this is, it takes effort. It takes more effort than you're used to.
I'm wrapped in a blanket, casting prestidigitation to warm it up. So there's like steam rolling off of
Yes.
me as it evaporates.
Yeah, it's a bit of a compromising position with Bast. Other than, I think the only other time you've seen Bast in a more compromising position was when he was dead.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anyone have anything that can burn? Wood?
I mean, I was gonna say I have something, or don't we have something that can like burn elves? But I don't think that's.
Elves, I'd say
Are
probably
you
not.
looking for like a campfire, something like
Yeah.
that? Yeah, there's one nearby. You guys are around in a tent. Like the whole part of this town, like this dome town, it's like a tent city, and so people
Okay.
have.
Yeah,
stuff
I'm
like
just
that.
gonna pick Bast up and just walk him over to one and just like this and put him next to it.
You got it.
Is it fungus wood?
Also, I'm gonna make sure I do not make skin to skin contact.
Sure. Yeah. Almost got you. Yeah.
Through the blanket that I'm still cocooned up.
Sure. So you swaddle Bast, you pull him out. You asked if it was like mycelial wood. Do you take a moment to actually look?
I mean, I'm probably staring into the fire while I'm warming up.
The CrestVahllen
just
Disease
curious.
Center
It's
recommends
not
5
Bass would be the only one
5
where it would be
feet
hard to
of
tell because both of
social
them are hard.
distancing.
It was it was Adam being just
Trying to be funny. Sure.
Are you so? Are you still cold? That blanket. I put my hand near the blanket, feel that it's warm. Are you still cold?
yes.
We're gonna have to do something about this sickness real soon.
You look terrible.
I mean,
It does.
the last thing I want to do is get any of y'all into the same situation that I'm in. So
I mean, we want to get you out of the situation you're in.
I appreciate that, but if it comes down to it, you leave me behind.
So it's in your arm. Can we just chop off his arm?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I don't want to do that, but
If I'm feeling myself
I should have done that.
phrasing, if I understand myself correctly, it's a lot further than just in my shoulder this morning.
okay.
Yes, I believe from when you were invisible, you were able to see it as well. It is like it has been sent like its tendrils out to try to attach to parts of your lungs and rib cage and everything. And you also know that it feels like it's gotten bigger.
Oh, definitely. That's Maeve brainstorming.
Yeah.
With it
Where'd Talia go?
probably off to just
I don't know
look
how to-
around. I'd say this is more pressing.
We did sort of figure out last night that I don't know if any of y'all have any magic that can hurt something.
My magic is
When-
I've got I can make small flowers bloom. I can shoot exploding arrows. That's about the extent of it, and I don't know how much shooting an arrow into you would help the situation.
I can go invisible, and there's a fraction of a moment where it is trying to follow me, and it can be targeted, seen. And I don't know if that'll help, but it's a chance.
I'm sorry, go back. You can turn invisible? Since when?
Since we fought that thing way back in the crypt.
You gotta do your homework, Maeve.
No.
Wait.
My,
Oh, I wasn't paying attention to you back then.
I haven't done it very often. I think the last time I did it was when we were in that town, and I got myself in trouble scouting out the tower without you folk.
Yep.
Like, I don't do it very often, but I can do it.
All right.
Well, I don't have
Interesting.
spells, but I do have this thing that really hurts. And I pull out the rod of cold iron.
Wait.
I don't know if it's just gonna hurt you or not.
I mean,
Might be worth trying anything.
so okay, so you said when you become invisible, it doesn't?
It does. There's a slight delay as it follows me into invisibility.
Okay, so let's see if I understand. Clearly, when it is visible for a second, you want to stab him with the rod.
I don't
No.
think I can punch it, so I can probably just stab him.
My thought for that scenario
Yeah.
was more like, I
all
know
I got.
there's magic that only works if you can see a thing. So essentially, for like a split second, it's visible, and you can target it, but none of y'all have magic.
Yeah, I'm sorry to say,
That
I
was-
can make holes in things with arrows.
That was our feline friend.
Len can make holes in things with daggers. And I'm
So-
assuming he can make holes in things with his fists.
Well, my other thought was that, yes, we could
We could
open me up.
We could enlist the help of someone else who has magic. We seem to be kind of lacking here, but maybe we go ask around.
I have some ideas. So first of all, I want to, looking at these symptoms, can I bring to mind any kind of like disease or sickness that has similar symptoms? Maybe I might be able to like ease them a little bit.
how much of the information that you and Talio Bast found out the evening are you trying to just like full
Yeah,
tell
I mean,
everything? Okay, cool.
it's fully a biological creature.
Right.
This is a symbiote that attaches to a living creature and adapts to them
Pardon me.
and can do everything that they can do.
One of the things
Given
that
enough
you
time.
found out was that it was a parasite of
Yes.
some type of biological parasite.
Correct.
That's a big portion of the information that would absolutely help you out with this, Len. Meaning that it is in this world, especially with magic and all these other things, sometimes it's the line is blurred of what is a creature, what has consciousness, what has like intention, that whole type of thing. It can be complicated and it can be ambiguous, and that's almost to be expected. With what you're hearing from what Bass's explanation is, this does seem like a parasite of some type. And he was very clear about the fact that this is not a magical creature of anything, especially not anything that he's aware of, but a just full biologically parasite that has infected a body and is one of the things you know about Len just by knowing creatures, because that's your bailiwick, is that parasites cannot survive without a host. Once the host is dead, the parasite has to move on to a new host, and if it doesn't, then it dies with the host. Meaning, it's very easy, like no role required, it's very easy for you to understand at least the basics of this, that every other type of Icarus creature that you have encountered, some platform or some body or some type of host has been part of that Icarus creature as well, for it to be able to exist for any protracted amount of time. If that also it may be something that's like, oof. To Len, it may not be, meaning that all of the things that you have fought still have like a body, or at least like some organs or something in them that the Icar is like keeping alive in some way, shape, or form. Kind of like how sometimes when you do surgery and you might take organs out and put them on dialysis or put them on some sort of, I'm not a doctor, but put them on like some sort of blood, so the blood is still going through the liver or something like that, and they're still there, but they're not part of the body anymore.
Biologically functioning, but not
Artificially.
necessarily living.
Yeah, are biologically, artificially being sustained so it can exist. Meaning that they have like a heart. They have a weakness. That's a huge thing to you that you see right away. I mean, eliminate the host, this thing can't survive very long, which is a huge thing. That's one of the things you come up with right away. Is there anything else you want to try to do when you examine this type of thing?
All we have to do is kill Bast
Exactly.
and let the thing
That is a
die.
thought that
I have
probably occurs to you. It
I have a
might be
treatment
an
for you.
intrusive thought.
I'm the host, so yeah. I mean, it depends on how long after my death this thing dies.
If you want to, you can roll like a medicine, nature, arcana, whatever you're feeling.
I'm eyeing that bar of cold iron bar.
I mean, that's all I got.
So
I want to think of
I
like
don't have access to like magic missile. I think that would be the perfect spell here.
we know
Like, it's
that thing
instantaneous, and
is-
you could see it. Just
that thing's gonna hurt me.
yeah,
I don't know if that thing is gonna hurt it.
yeah. Only one way to find out. So just
Is
wave
there
it
a-
near you?
Did you want to roll any of those checks, or are you still thinking
Yeah,
about
sure.
it?
I
Which
mean, I
one
know-
would you like to
I
try?
wouldn't.
medicine? What?
I know we can heal me, and I've been through enough pain most recently that I'm not opposed to doing some painful things if it ends up helping me out. So I have an idea as well of something that could help, but I really don't want to end up cutting myself open and it not doing any good. So, if y'all got any better ideas?
I'm sorry, I was thinking about that fabric you wouldn't let me get. Are we going to slice him open?
I mean, we did let a crazy person operate on Talio's brain, so right, that was recent.
But
So if we find the same person that operated onto Leo,
They're gone though.
all right.
you're also not wrong about spells, though. If somebody here can cast a spell quick that can do a whole lot of damage, that could potentially be all we need to get rid of this thing.
Maybe. Also, I rolled a 20.
A 20 for medicine? Okay,
Not
that's
a nat 20.
20.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20? Okay, cool. Let's think about it. You guys are being kind of investigative with what's going on here.
If Shenny was alive, she could help me.
I mean, Steern had ice knife. That would have also.
Len goes into full, like, research, investigative, kind of detective, CSI type mode, as you are very careful not to touch Bast, but
Literally
you do the whole thing where you, like, pull your head back, squint your eyes, move around,
what did you ask?
make sure you move sometimes lean him a certain way, force him to move in a certain way that's kind of a little jarring to make sure it's in the right light, even though there's no real sun here, but like in the light of the campfire. You notice a couple things. You get fully analytical with this, very, very anatomical, very analytical with this. One of the things you're very familiar with, because of your history, is the nature of diseases, curses, parasites, those types of things, whether they be magical or otherwise, and how they actually alter the physiology of the body of which they inhabit. You have firsthand experience with stuff like that, given the vampirism that was only recently ameliorated, perhaps in some way,
Or
or
current dendrism?
transformed and perhaps something else.
Dendrism?
Dendrism, rhododendrism,
The plantism?
I guess that would be called floridism, a floration, if you will. But I digress.
I don't understand. Go on.
You say don't digress. Keep
You
going.
just said that how an urge to ride a crocodile. Alligator.
Dendrology is the study of trees.
Right.
So I was trying to make a vampirism, plantism joke.
Denvrism, maybe. I don't know.
So that's
I still like
Anyway.
rhododendrism. I don't know why.
You
but
could say it didn't take root.
oh, jeez,
Then-
Alex.
You should really
That
consider
was
branching
that
out
was
from humor.
funny.
It's like putting the metal around yourself. Like,
Oh, jeez. Okay, so while you're doing this, you're recognizing that vampirism can be very much like a parasite, kind of a curse. There's definitely part of vampirism that is magical, just similar how your lycanthropy is also like kind of a curse and also biological. It's wibbly wobbly. It's really hard to pin down because of how ambiguous these types of things, but also can be somewhat of a parasite infection, those types of things. This is another thing that is also affecting and transforming the biology. You recognize it as a pure parasite. Not only a pure parasite, as you're looking at it, it's a perfect parasite, meaning that as you're like analyzing it and you press into his shoulder a little bit, you notice that his skin is not blanching in certain types of ways. Are you trained in medicine? Okay, so this is stuff that you would absolutely be aware of, especially in order to do triage out on the hunt. His DNA and physiology is fully changing. Not necessarily like it was when he got lycanthropy, although that was a thing that happened. This is full, all the way science. Like full biology, all the way science. No magic involved. There's a foreign entity that is rewriting his RNA and DNA, like in real time, and is causing him to be something else.
I'm not saying anything, but I'm thinking like you might be fucked.
Right, because it is a parasite that's subverting itself onto that. Because of that, you know that if this entity is conscious, it will go to any length possible to remain in its host because you know it is a parasite. You know the weakness is that if the host should die for any reason and the parasite would be prevented from getting another host, it would only be a matter of time before that thing would die. In fact, you are able to actually take a sample. You are very careful with this. What instrument do you use? As you somehow get inside of his
Do
shoulder.
you still have the gold dagger?
No, I threw it at someone.
You could borrow mine.
I was just gonna say I'll take like I have a bunch of empty vials. I'll take a little wood chip off my arm and
Or the silver. We got silver knives. We got gold knives. We got.
Silver and lycanthropy, perhaps.
no, I will take a little
If you
wood
wanna
chip
use
off
your
my
own
arm. I'm gonna do that. Get a little bit of it and then put it in the vial and close it.
Sure. You are
'Cause it
keenly aware that he's resistant to like any other type of mundane thing that's not magical, that's not silvered. So you know you'd have to use either something silvered or something magical in order to
Oh yeah, I have to cut
or
it.
be
push real
efficacious. Yeah, or push real hard in order to be
Okay.
efficacious with this process.
Yeah, you can't just take a nice light dusting of dandruff for this.
I'm gonna be like, this is gonna hurt best. I'm not gonna like do surgery on you, but I'm gonna have to open you up a little bit. Just a little bit.
Should we hold him down?
No,
Don't touch it.
Right.
Could
That's
he-
right. Oh, that's right.
Could he surgically like open up enough to get to that creature? Is that what he's doing?
That's what we're in the process of finding out. I'd just like to know how he intends to
Okay.
do so. He rolled really well, like it's possible for him to do so. I just want to know how he does it.
I would just use one of the daggers suggested, pretty much. I would wear gloves.
Okay.
I assume
We
like
have
a-
the sharp silver bits that we got way back from
Oh, yeah.
Sorna.
I've got a silver
No.
spear.
From the
Oh, yeah.
the
was-
wheeled
That
weaver.
was back when we were hunting werewolves.
You can easily just remove the blade from the spear and use that as a makeshift scalpel. If that's
Yeah,
something you'd
I was
like
gonna
to
do that. Try to find whatever sharpest blade we have.
Sure. That would be that would be
The
adequate.
most advantageous way to
Yeah.
get at it.
You will take damage from this.
Yep.
You're going into the knife
Yep.
without anesthetic.
Yep.
So,
Well, I do one of these like.
If
what's
he's-
that? See, he's fine.
if he's going to be cut
Maeve,
open,
It's a good idea. You should probably hold me down a little
okay, yes.
bit. Little man,
But
sit on my legs
also-
or something.
If
wanna
he's
touch
being
you.
cut open
Oh, that's a good point.
and you're
Put the-
taking a, what if you
Put the
just like,
blanket
what
over
if,
me.
I mean, if you're cutting him open already,
Wait a minute.
what if you just like jam the iron in there? Iron kills the thing, right?
No, we don't know.
We
that.
don't know.
We don't know.
It kills the elf.
Cold iron hurts, harms, it / kills and
It's gonna hurt
disfigures
me.
Fae.
Oh,
It's
right.
gonna hurt me.
Shit.
I don't know if
I'm
it's gonna hurt
backwards.
that thing.
When
My
did you
bad.
get when did you get infected?
Yesterday when we were fighting the creatures down on the surface.
Remember one was wrapped around
I mean,
him. And he
that was
couldn't
just
move?
yesterday, right? Yeah, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. I was gonna say if you got infected in the Feywild, then maybe they have some Fey DNA.
No, it was 2 days ago because you
Been
tranced
once.
inside of the quarantine. And this was your second long rest since.
No.
Oh, right, because
I didn't get a full trance, and they used the healing pod. They
Right.
didn't get a full
that's
rest
correct.
either.
It's
been a crazy
kind of
week.
wobbly.
It's only been like-
it's like a day and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's time's weird here because underground too. So, well,
If you can open me up and you can expose that thing, yes, try that. But I also have a thing I want to try.
okay, cool. So here's the deal.
I have a.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
One
go
more
ahead.
thing, real quick. I want to look around the settlement for a healer. I assume that other homeboy is gone.
What, like the mycelial kobold?
The one that we
That
helped
guided
out
you
Toledo.
here?
That helped out Toledo. The one that helped out
The
Toledo.
brain surgeon.
Yeah.
Tim?
He was,
Oh,
No, he
the
full-on
proprietor
fucked
of the
off.
mushroom house
Yeah.
that left.
Yeah.
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 Okay. I wanted to
Also,
look
we
around
just
for
fucked up all of his furniture.
He shrunk down
After
to
he
like
asked us not to.
an inch tall and like disappeared into cracks.
Not
Okay.
that big. more.
Yeah. I want to ask around if
I'm
there's
pretty
like
sure
a
you said
healer
like
somewhere.
inch tall. Like he.
Did I really?
Yeah.
and he just like,
So stupid.
So I had
okay, that's
No, me. I'm
I
stupid.
have a thought here, and it may be really, really dumb, but we're trying to get this thing out of Bast, right?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
we know that if we touch him, it might go into one of us.
Yes.
That means that either some or all of it might leave Bast for a little tiny bit. I don't know what we might do with that, but that also might, if here's what I'm thinking, if not all of it leaves, then we just now we're infected too.
Wait.
That's a last resort.
Yeah.
No.
We kill it as
Is
it
there
leaves.
What-
there an onculine?
What did we want to say?
Oh,
I know.
what if?
Sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
No, what if, since it is going to look for like another host, what if we capture a small, I hate to suggest this, but what if we capture like a small animal, put it in
For science.
like a container, and then when you cut him open,
Do some experiments on.
put this on, like, give it another host that we can more easily contain.
Yeah.
I would just feel bad doing that to a little animal, though.
King Anki.
Oh, hello.
Do you happen to have any platforms you might be willing to lose?
You see what looks like a conglomerate of a couple of femurs and legs, ulnas and radiuses of perhaps 3 different species of creatures, perhaps tiefling, human, and maybe something else, that appear to have just created not necessarily a humanoid body, but just kind of a totem that kind of wobbles around that.
Oh, I'm just imagining
like-
it like insectoid.
Yeah, it's like insectoid or spore, or
Bone
like
and fungus.
looking at this thing, how it actually moves around is it just keeps rotating and eventually it just moves, but it's definitely not going to be in a
Katamari.
straight line.
Katamari. With
Yeah,
bones.
it's very Katamari, but it's not like a ball. It's
Oh, I
yeah,
hate
it just
this.
kind of moves, and there's just this conglomerate. It's almost totem-like, and it's a little disturbing.
Hey, Anki, what I may have said about your previous forms, this is my least favorite.
You just see a mushroom. There's like 2 radiuses and ulnas that just create a bit of like a circle in the center, almost like a dream catcher, where there's this almost spiderweb type mycelial net, and there's like a morel mushroom that's just suspended in there. It appears to be spread out with a bunch of roots that just kind of falls out of the center and falls on the ground when you say it's ugly. And then it just takes one of the big toes of like this 2-pronged foot that is there, grabs it, and just pulls it under the foot. And you see it like be grabbed by a bunch of tiny little almost cilia type mushroom that just travel at elevator style back up to the top of where it can hit in that dreamcatcher style thing again. And you don't know where this sound is coming from, but it looks like there's fingernails that are attached to 2 of the hands that have been, well, there's no hands. It's just fingernails that are attached to some of the bones that have been eroded and added sponge bits that are just going so fast that it's able to simulate vocal cords as it goes.
Hello.
That's Argus's body.
It is super body horror fungal style.
Thanks, bud. I didn't need to sleep tonight.
Do you know of any living thing that wouldn't mind being a little bit of a experimental subject?
What do you mean?
We need someone
Like
We
a
need something
to
that
die
needs
for the
killing.
cause.
You need
Or something that
decoy?
we need something that needs to die, or we need something that doesn't mind dying.
Something that we
Feels very
care
much
less about than
Experimental
Bast.
prisoners
Are
kind
you a
of thing.
sociopath?
Yeah.
No,
I like.
It's a valid
that's
question.
that's
Yeah.
why I'm asking for volunteers.
Do you have a dark urge?
Do you have a platform that doesn't mind being sacrificed for science?
Oh,
Or is there something down here that we can get our hands on that is living but not thinking?
I mean, this thing's pretty like on its last leg. Literally.
I think you said before that like being connected when things die is not comfortable for you.
No, but it's not alive either.
Can you like shield yourself from that? Like, can you cut it off from the hole?
Given warning. Right before things bad go down.
And it is alive in some sense of the word, yeah.
No. Well,
You-
depends on the definition.
You're part of it and you're alive, yeah.
Is Anki susceptible to the ichor?
Oh yeah. No,
There
as
we
soon
go.
as something happens that it's possible for that to happen, I just discorporate, cut it off,
Okay.
self-annihilate.
Do you have one of your platforms you're willing to sacrifice to that?
I mean, this one's like on its last leg. I mean, the only reason why this one's still around is because some people think I'm a modern art piece.
All right.
Some sort of
Also,
think
it
you
made
are.
the same joke twice, which is in very bad form. Almost as bad as its actual form.
We're gonna
So-
do a couple of things to try and get me better.
Okay, but all of us need to be ready in
You want
case
to
it,
kill me?
in case it does jump.
If you're willing,
We need to be on that. The last thing we want is for that to escape.
You can always find a better. Struggling at the word.
if you're
Body.
willing, you could use your platform to
Cool.
help figure
So-
some things out.
There's a bunch of stuff here that's super wibbly wobbly, so I'm gonna just save you a little bit of time. Essentially, Onculine does. If you guys converse for a little bit longer, because I don't want to waste the time to do so, because
Yeah.
it's my fault for making this so ambiguous. But essentially, the Onculine does somehow artificially keep the organs kind of working, but also not at the same time. It's like a decay.
He is a fungus.
He is a
Fungus
fungus.
alive.
Yeah, it's
It's a living creature.
Yeah, but the like legs and arms and things aren't necessarily.
yeah, like so. Yeah, that's the thing. Technically, he's also kind of a parasite, but not because the host is dead and they're growing off the dead flesh and the necrosis of it, and so it lives on death. And technically,
It
for
needs
certain
mammalian
definitions of
life.
life, in certain definitions of life, fungus kind of falls on a weird line of actual life when it comes to that type of stuff.
If it can affect and take over his platforms,
Yeah,
then to it, fungal life is life.
sure. And
our
and
purposes,
that's what
yeah.
I was getting to. What I'm saying is that the part that perhaps what occurs to you that the part that the ichor might try to infest is not the necrotic decaying limbs, but the living mycelial fungal parts of it, which is more dangerous for Onculine because if that would ever actually be fully infected and taken over, could have far more far-reaching consequences. Due to the hive mind and all this other stuff, which I'm sure you're fully aware. So this is not without risks, even for Onculine. This is a big ask still.
I want to look around for like a small rat or something near us. We're in the underbelly of the
I
city.
pick up a rock.
I pick up a rock, sure. Yeah, you
Nature?
go ahead. Yeah, survival.
No, it's the joke that like there's always a rock to pick up. You never
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to look for. Like, no, there's just you
17.
need an animal. There's just one there.
I was in a game where someone says that's your last random rock, as we just would pick up pebbles and keep
Yeah.
triggering traps.
17.
17, yeah.
Yes.
You're able to find the first rat you find has cordyceps growing out of its skull, and you're like, and you are able to find a rat. It's very interesting because the rat that you find, 769 years of evolution, especially up aloft here, has actually allowed for these rats to be also rats, but have prehensile type of bat wings also attached to them, so they are allowed to move across air currents to other parts of the floating city through evolution. So they are literally like a
Rats with
rat. A bat
wings.
is just a rat with wings. They are both.
Okay. Would this work? Possibly for testing.
It's alive.
Yeah.
It doesn't like that you've grabbed it by the tail.
Oh no, I'm just like holding on through this thing.
It's like,
Yeah, put it in the bag.
It's kind of big, but we can try. Here,
Can't
I'm
help-
holding it. You got to be more proactive than that. The bag needs. Okay.
I
We
can't
now
help
have
but
a
think
rat in a bag.
This would be better done in Greaves' workshop, but I don't think he's probably going to be too thrilled with us showing back
hey,
up
Anki,
there.
you can talk to him, right?
Oh,
Has he got any like super mojo skill, like spells?
oh
like
he's the
magic?
Bojo. He's the Mr.
No.
Mojo.
Well, I guess not even just him, but like anybody down here have like real good abilities with magical killing things.
Like reclaimers?
I don't know what a reclaimer is. Sorry.
They're the ones that are sent down to the surface to scavenge and make sure that we can survive off of what they can find.
Do they do large amounts of damage to things with magic ability?
Oh, they have to. Oh, they wouldn't be reclaimers.
Where can we find them?
Well, there's some retired reclaimers nearby,
That
but they're in the, how do I say this? The palliative care unit ward.
are they still capable?
Most of the ones that are here are infected and have been kept away from being eliminated or captured by the people, the harriers above, by being able to.
Infected like me,
Oh.
but they're still them.
Yep. And they're kept here so they can have some of the last moments with their family.
That might be better.
And then when they feel like they can't anymore, or they aren't able to anymore, we just open the moon door and we drop them.
They might be more willing to help out if
Yeah.
they think that it could lead to a solution to their problems.
Yeah, it's also super heavily regulated. If you're not a family member, you're not allowed anywhere near them because, for obvious reasons, if people could just go willy-nilly go there, one wrong touch, and the whole hanging the deer is infected.
Can you get us past that?
I mean,
Or can Greaves get us the audience we need to talk to them?
that's a big ask. You're asking to put the.
Then why even offer that up as a possibility?
I didn't. You asked a question and I answered it. I told
Yeah.
you what there was.
And if it's not a possibility, why you even offering it up?
So
That
instead,
wasn't a
let's.
word. I think you
I'm trying.
trailed off.
Sting's on his last leg.
So Lynn, you think you can cut him up into this thing? We have a rat in a bag.
Could try.
I can hold him down.
Yeah, we
He's
could,
got the cold iron.
we could also,
possibly.
I'm thinking if we're going to make these experiments, if they go wrong, they might go really, really wrong.
I mean, look around us.
What I'm
Everything
sa-
has
what I'm-
already gone really wrong.
What I'm saying is maybe the best place to do this is ask if we can go back to Greaves'
To
workshop.
that point, the only reason why, like, I'm doing you, and so is Greaves, a huge favor by not throwing you in that palliative care unit.
I mean,
You should not be walking around. You accidentally bump into somebody, this whole city, done.
Okay, is there a quick
That's
way
it.
to Greaves?
Quick way to Greaves?
Yes.
You want to talk to him?
without letting the Aeon box.
Clickety, 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 clickety. You want to talk to him?
No,
Well, I mean, we can run our theories past him, maybe see if he's tried them already.
maybe you should throw me in there with those folks.
No, I mean, not get back out.
Let us do a couple of things.
Unless you want to drop a couple thousand.
Let us do a couple of things. If it doesn't work, throw me in there.
Okay.
I think that sounds like a fair.
If it comes down to the
Option.
magical solution to my problem, being in there with them is the best place to be.
Do you need a hand?
She
I
caught
hate
one of
you
them,
so much.
She caught one of them rat things, so I don't think we need one of your platforms anymore. But thank you.
Okay.
You see the hand like get up and like thing style just crawl its way back to the rest of it.
Len, you were gonna do something all scientific like, and we interrupted you rudely.
Don't worry. I was gonna. What I
Please
was gonna
proceed
do.
with
was,
You got
Slice
this
and
check,
mash
so
shoulder.
you're gonna do the thing. I just wanted you to paint a
Yeah,
picture.
I was
for
gonna
me.
say I wanted to look around, see if I could find a healer of some kind. Anyone skilled with medicine,
That's
healing magic, anything like
One
that.
thing I wanted
Tough.
to point out:
I'm
Taleo
sorry.
was the one that brought me back from death.
Yeah.
None of y'all can do that. So
Nope.
Yeah, my immediate
don't
thought was
kill me.
my first thought was kill you and then revive you if we could.
Please don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, we've
'Cause
already
that
got
won't
him.
help none.
No.
So, that is going to require you to like stop what it is that you're doing and actually have a search throughout this entire tent city. That's not going to be something that you just be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I see you wearing a red American Red Cross T-shirt. Come
'Cause
on over here. I need help."
Most of what I wanted to find is there's some kind of like anesthesia or whatever we call it, or like something numbing.
If I recall, some of you have either some poison on you. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Len, you have the seed that Elias gave you,
I do.
and Elias was from what you could tell, a type of blossoming, like bottom kind of corpse flower, but also somewhat nightshade type of style because it was fruited. Just similar to how the tomato plant is actually from the nightshade family, and the fact that it did have seed pods and fruits and seeds within the fruits, which is what you laid into. I mean, unless I don't really remember, it might be worth going through your inventory to see if you have any types of poisons or anything. Other than that, I would say you're well aware of your companion's abilities. The closest thing to something like that would be Osfer's ability to disrupt the key within a body and cause it to shut down, for at least temporarily.
Oh yeah, could stun him.
I'll get down.
But you're gonna have to touch him.
My longsword will touch him.
That's true. You can
Your
use it
staff.
as a conduit for your key. That's very, very true. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap my hands up in some
Yeah,
rags.
Never at any moment did being a Kensei fucking monk ever benefit you more than this moment right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some rags, wrap them around my hands, avoid
Can you
skin-to-skin
willingly
contact
fail
if I can,
a wisdom save?
and get a knife and
I can
try.
I can willingly let it happen.
Let Oscar do his thing, then try to get to work.
Yeah,
Also,
I mean, you can
unrelated,
do yourself,
didn't I fix
do your
your
best to make
clothing
yourself as
before
open
we
and
went to bed?
vulnerable as possible. So yeah,
Like while you were sleeping, I think I fixed your clothes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I haven't gotten properly
also-
dressed for the
I'm
day,
sorry.
so I haven't noticed.
Oh my god,
I
he
am
still
even
just
going
walked
to
around with
log into
boxers.
my little buddy
pajamas
so that
on.
I'm not actually
No, he has,
present
like, the
within
big,
my
like,
own
long
body.
pajamas with, like, this
right.
thick
You still
hat.
feel it. You just can't see it or
With the really
hear it.
fuzzy ball
Yes.
at the end of it.
Um,
He sleeps like honk.
that is worth noting that this is an extremely temporary. Like you have 6 seconds to do what it is that you need to do. So Len, you have 6 seconds to go in there and take care of something. The interesting part is that with that medicine check of 20, you're confident that what he can do to disrupt the chi in it, because it's a parasite living off the host, is also going to disrupt it. Meaning that it will also be unable to move, grasp on, entangle, because it is fully, unless perhaps another creature that it is parasiting into, like the host itself, would be immune to, let's say, like the stun effect, or immune to having its key being disrupted, then it will suffer the same type of effects as the host.
So, you're going to take a sample. You're going to stab me with the iron rod.
Well, I
No, that's
I
not
figure I
bad
might
now.
do the iron rod on the sample,
It will have to be one of your Kensei weapons for it to be able to be a conduit for your key.
or
If I
would
remember
or I
correctly.
would have to punch him, and I don't.
Or
wanna
you
do
would
that.
have to punch
Yeah.
him, correct. If I believe
No, I'm gonna
correct
slap him
on that
across the
one.
face with my longsword. That's the flavor.
Yeah, with like the
Flat
broad.
of the
That's
blade.
fine. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. You're still going to take damage.
Alright.
You're going to take damage from that and from him
Cutting me
cutting you
I
open.
still,
It's going to happen.
I want to hold him down. Do you have any more of those
Oh, wrap me in the
rags?
You can like take down one of the tents if you want and just use the tent. If you just like
blanket.
pull one
Mummify me
down.
except for the shoulder.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, let's
then-
yeah.
Yeah,
let's
you just
do it.
fully OR it. You fully OR it, being like you're the operating area, the surgical theater, as they called it, is where just around there, and that's the only part that's.
Oh, like
exposed to
no
air.
other escape routes too. Just completely mummy him up with
You can sit on top of me
Yeah.
while they do what they're doing.
It's exactly what they do in the OR. Everything else is covered with like blue or whatever, and then only the part that's open is what they get to.
Okay, so we wrap you up. Is there anything we have to
you're
roll
not
for
gonna
that,
do
or
you're not going to stab me with the rod.
No, I'll do that on the sample if we
Cool.
if we get one.
Is that it?
That's a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up, if you don't mind. With that, again, medicine, very, very high with the 20. You know that because it is altering his DNA, it has to be altering its own DNA to adapt to that, if it even has DNA. So it has to be, like you've experienced before, somewhat fey. So it would be susceptible, most likely. The chances are.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's that role has
The
gotten you a
whole
lot.
One of
Yeah.
us have an
Pickling jar
acorn
and the cucumber.
I'm sorry.
I have an
I'm sorry,
acorn.
what?
I have one.
Did you say
that
acorn?
had the Ica
I've got it.
inside of it.
That's me.
Oh,
One of them was wasted. If it was like the acorn jar, I do remember it being
think I had one
opened
too.
in Dark Horse Sanctum.
Yeah.
How many of those did you have? I believe it was only one.
It was just the one.
I just
yeah,
mean
that stuff's gone.
No, the acorn.
the
is
Ica
there.
out
Acorn.
of it's gone.
Yes.
The the acorn itself that had the stuff in it. Did we sacrifice the whole thing?
I mean, it's so degraded.
acorn
I mean, I've
container.
got-
I
Oh.
have the acorn container.
You
I
have
have
you
one.
had other acorn containers. I'm saying there's
Yes.
no residue in it because it would proliferate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got plenty of vials from the potions that we drank.
I'm sorry. Please. Go
Oh
ahead.
no, I was gonna
We
say I have
recycle
one
here.
still. But yeah.
So what
Okay.
we're doing? Tie me up.
Yep.
Okay.
Tell you, I'll pitch you in the
Tying
face
you
with
up.
a sword.
You're
and
taking a
crush you.
sample out of it, and then I want to, in the 6 seconds between him taking the sample and
It's very like film noir detective
Yes.
guerrilla surgery style, and I'm like so down for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. You already rolled the most pivotal roll of this. So you're gonna take the blade from the thing. So essentially, what is the damage die for your spear? Just because he's gonna be, it's
it'll
not just a
be-
stab. He's gonna be carving. So.
Oh, for the spear? I
Yeah.
don't remember what a spear is. Do you have that? Happen to have one?
Spear's a D8,
D6, D8 with
Versatile.
versatile.
two-handed, yeah, and then
Yeah,
D6
and
one-handed.
spear is a 1d6 versatile to a 1d8.
Yeah.
He's doing it 1d hand, so you're gonna be doing 1d6 damage to him
Yeah, and
for every round that he needs to keep
Me
Bast sunned in order for you to succeed this. Meaning,
fine.
if complications arise and you need to continue to do so, he's going to continue needed to carving, and you're going to continue needed to also slap him. I will say that because you're using the broadside of your long sword, you can reduce this damage to a D4 just like blunt.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that, but you do have to create some sort of physical like shock to it for the body to be susceptible to that key disrupting the nervous system. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Cool. So let's do the first round of surgery.
I've got the rat bag ready.
surgery.
This is such back alley surgery. I'm so here.
I
for.
love this.
It's really interesting because one of the other campaigns, the Baker's Dozen, actually has a actual animagen surgeon that actually grafts pieces of other species onto herself and is really skilled with it. And then you guys are just 800 years into the future,
Not even
Amateur
sterilizing our
fucking
tools.
being like, "Did you sanitize it? I mean, I spit on it. It's fine." Like,
What's
perfect.
sanitizing wounds? Like, what does that mean?
perfect. Maeve, is there something that you're
What's salt
doing?
water?
Oh,
Would you like to assist in this?
I wrapped him up, and also
She's
I am holding
restrained.
the rat bag.
Got it. You want to hold him down?
Well, that too.
Oh, with the rat bag too.
Yeah, I've got the rat bag handy.
Is that in the skin bag?
Yes, it is.
So
making
here's how I'm
sure.
going to do this. You're going to roll your damage every round. That's fine. If Bast gets knocked out, we get a complication. If Maeve is not allowed to hold him down because he's not able to endure the pain, we get a complication. If during the surgery you don't pass one of the checks that I might have you do, because it's not, it's super easy thing to do unless you want to cut off his arm, and then there could be a complication. So there's a bunch of different ways. Like if you fail at something, you get a complication, and that complication is going to make everything harder. Could have the type of consequences of perhaps having the chance of spreading it. Those types of things.
Question for you.
Sure.
I've got a bunch of inspiration that I may or may not use for this.
Yeah.
Is that something I can use reactively, or is that a proactive thing?
Yes,
I
it
don't
is something
remember.
that you can do. Essentially, I believe I talked about this before, but I don't mind clarifying it. Usually it's used after you roll the dice and you know what total you have, but before I tell you whether it succeeds or fails.
Okay.
However, during certain situations, if you ask me, I'll let you know if you can do it after I tell you if it succeeds or fails. I'd be more lenient on like super big stuff, like death saving throws or things like. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
The more dire the situation, the more lenient I'll be with that because drama and working together is like the name of the game, right? Cool. Make sense?
Okay.
Is that Bast checking out?
Yeah.
Mentally,
that's
like
Bast just being like kneed in the throat by Maeve and like holding down all his joints as
Yeah, I'm
best.
just like, okay.
Yeah.
all
You're
I'm
ready?
saying
It's like
is,
elbow, knee.
Yeah.
This is the second time I will have to apply blunt force to someone's face to save them.
It's not me this time, so I'm okay with it.
So
the
I like my
Len,
face.
Len is just. I'm imagining Len is like, oh fuck,
So
it's coming.
Bast is wrapped up in a cocoon except for his shoulder, face, nothing. Just all in a
Wait.
canvas tent. Maeve is on top, knee, elbow, knee. You're like ready to whack the bag with the broadsword of your sword at any moment just to pretty much literally beating a dead horse type of feel.
If someone walks in on this,
And then you're ready to shank the thing after it gets smacked. So
If someone walks by, it's
yeah.
consensual, I swear. He
Oddly
wanted
enough-
us to
it
do
looks like
this.
we're about to murder this guy.
oddly enough,
backhand.
it's 769 years into the future. Not the weirdest thing these people have seen. So you guys are okay. Sure. So here we go.
Okay.
I'm
Also,
gonna-
I hope it's okay if I have my phone here, circumstances.
No, you're fine.
Okay. I know that
Um,
usually I try and keep it off the table.
You're
but-
fine. You're fine.
Cool.
Just don't put it on vibrate so it doesn't
Oh, no.
pass through
you-
the thing.
Yeah. I just wanted to clarify.
You're
that
totally
that's-
fine. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna do first things. Before anything happens, because you guys are all prepped, you get the advantage of not having to do certain checks because it's the first time and no pain is being administered. You're gonna be the first one to do because you need to stun before anything can happen.
Cool.
Everything else can be set up and prepared.
Hey, min damage. That's a
You
1.
will hit. There's no way for you to miss.
Yep. I've just rolled straight damage. It's a 1. Plus
It will be plus your dexterity. Yeah.
3, 4.
Four.
You take 4 damage. But
So you
that's
take
the
4
minimum.
points of damage.
And
I'm not
ours.
gonna have you roll
And I'm
con
stunned.
saves. You're stunned.
Oh, God.
You see the nod from Osfer. It's time for you to start digging, Len. Go ahead. We're gonna do your damage, and then we're gonna do a check for you.
Should I have my modifier?
Yes. This would be Dex, I believe, for you because this is still
That's 7.
you're carving out pieces of the body. It's not like you're. So that's a lot of damage. So go ahead.
It's 7.
You're doing your best to be minimally evasive with a with a silver spearhead. 7 points. Okay, so Bast, you just keep track of all this damage because this
Yep.
might be a bit.
Yep.
What I need Len to do then is just roll a medicine check.
Is there any way that I
22.
can help him? Okay, maybe we don't need that. I am also trained in medicine.
So here's the deal. You can take a disadvantage on one of the checks that I'm going to make you do. Like, for example, you're going to be rolling strength saving throws to hold Bast down from the pain. You're going to be rolling medicine checks. You're just rolling damage, but you still need to put like your key into it. If you want to instead do like full damage, you can then give somebody else advantage. If they want to help somebody else, they have to take disadvantage on whatever they're
Okay.
doing to give advantage to somebody else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
See how we're doing like a give and take here? Cool. So you can either like disregard your care as far as trying to knock him out to help somebody else because it's hard to do all of that in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Cool. But we'll do a vanilla round here just to give you guys an idea. So what'd you get for your medicine check?
22.
22. Excellent. Very well done. You make your first incision and start spreading parts of the flesh apart. You make sure that you are wearing, there's no way you don't have some Van Helsing leather gloves about you, given your past. So you are wearing some sort of kind of blacksmith leather type of gloves. You've definitely hunted something before that requires you to have not have to have touched it. So you have that.
Okay, I love that he has to be so like have finesse and dexterousness in the least dexterous gloves I can imagine.
Yes, exactly.
Primitive leather.
Meaning he's very good at what he does.
I'm impressed.
Not even modern gloves, like
know.
primitive hand sewn leather.
Yeah, Len is like focused and expert. It's impressive to see the absolute fine motor dexterity that this individual. No complications. That's a success.
All
You're
right,
gonna move
Bast, how you
forward.
doing down there?
Can't feel a thing.
I don't believe that.
Strength saving throw as he struggles and he says, "I can't feel a thing."
18.
18. You're able to keep him pinned down and mostly not moving.
Good to know.
Len, you start to peel back some of the first parts of flesh and move some of not the deep tissue, but the top muscle tissue to get out of the way so you can get deeper. Bast, what's your? I'm sorry, not Bast. Len, what is your passive perception here?
15.
15. I'm going to be the benefit of doubt. I'm not going to make you roll for this because you're already super concentrated on this in medicine. I'm going to roll it in with your medicine. I think you notice just an instant of the black ichor as you start to peel stuff back that starts to retreat further into the body. Like it is aware that you're coming after it as much as Bass is aware that you're coming after it. And it is trying to burrow deeper.
I'm warged into.
Yeah, but like
Timon.
you're just consciously aware of that's what
Yeah,
they're
I
doing.
understand. I'm
So
just-
it is consciously aware. Yeah.
But
So I
it's
couldn't have
stunned?
actually answered you.
But
when
it's
you asked me
stunned?
the question.
But
Oh,
that's
it's
another
fine.
thing that you
The-
learned
the
from this
blob.
process.
The blob made a blobby thumbs up at you.
Oh, cute.
Right. The gelatinous. What's up?
Isn't it stunned? How would it be burrowing deeper? if it's stunned?
It is. I mean, like at the end of his incision,
Uh-huh.
as he gets to it, then it burrows deeper at the end. Like once it comes back.
There's the ichor, and then
Okay.
there's also his little blobby friend.
Right, but I
Which
mean,
is
like
separate, yeah.
after you finished your first incision, you start to move stuff around, and then we start a new one. You see it starts to move.
Gotcha.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yep.
Because and that's another thing that you learn from this, which is also very valuable information. Apparently, the ichor appears to be consciously and aware of everything that its host is consciously aware of. Very valuable information. You're learning a lot from this whole endeavor.
So if we knock Bast unconscious,
It could possibly,
Help.
but that would also increase the risk for complications.
okay.
Because you'd have to, because unless you have like a spell like sleep or something, you would have to damage him.
Elf can't be put to sleep.
Can't be put to sleep. So you're stuck between a rock and a hard place here because you can't put him to sleep given his lineage. And in order to actually knock him out, you'd have to put him to a place where his body would be compromised into a way that it wouldn't be able to hold consciousness, meaning that it would be even more susceptible to
find me some
complications
real
during
good
surgery.
drugs.
I'm gonna-
All
I'm gonna-
this makes sense. You
Just
get
let
it?
me know when you're ready for the sponge rat.
Yeah, I'm gonna try something really stupid.
You're
I'm
like,
gonna
nurse,
tell-
scalpel.
I'm gonna tell Bast. I'm gonna be like, I'm not gonna be able to get this thing out of you, Bast. It's too deep in there. And I'm gonna look at Maeve and Oscar and like wink, like,
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fun. Go ahead and roll a deception check.
Deception.
Are you doing full damage to try to help somebody else, or are you just trying to stay the course vanilla style?
I'll say the course for now.
Okay.
Do I have
Cool. So you rolled your damage?
Yes. 5.
Okay. Yep. Keep track of that.
Wait.
I should be taking half of this.
Yeah. It's bludgeoning. I'm smacking him in the face with the blood side of my
Well,
longsword.
you have key empowered strikes. So
Oh.
everything
Oh,
that
it's
you
magical.
do is magical
Yep,
damage.
Sorry. Never mind.
Haha, I
Yep.
remembered
Oh,
something.
Yeah. This would never come up. Why would I ever attack Bast with my longsword?
that's a 7.
It's a 7. Do you want to help him and take a disadvantage on the strength saving throw? It's up to
Yeah,
you.
sure.
Okay, cool. So we'll do it in the same order we did before. So you get advantage on your medicine check as they try to focus their energy on that spot to keep from moving, allowing the other limbs to flail a little bit more. Go ahead.
It's better.
You say medicine? Or?
This is all medicine. You're doing surgery.
Right,
This is
21.
medicine.
21.
21. Amazing. Very well done. This check gets harder and harder. You haven't rolled below a 20, so I
Oh,
can't
that was him trying. Sorry, him trying to persuade or.
Oh, the deception.
deceive, yes.
Yeah, I'll allow it. What do you do to help the deception?
Oh, this is looking bad. There's a lot of blood. Are you sure that you know what you're doing?
Yeah, that would absolutely make Bast panic and flail a little bit more. So that makes total sense. So go ahead and roll your damage. Well, you got the. The deception, you feel like you're pretty good with that. That's going to come into effect later at the end of this. Yeah.
That's 7 again.
For medicine,
No
for
damage.
for damage. Okay, cool. Now roll your medicine. Now roll your strength saving throw, please.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage, yeah.
14.
14.
12.
12. 14's not bad. What is your strength modifier, Bast?
Modifier or my score?
It's either. I can do
15 plus 2.
15. So you have to beat his strength score with your thing. So you
Got them werewolf muscles.
yeah, because you got the werewolf. So you just fail it. What did you get for your medicine then? I'm sorry.
12.
12. You're keeping track of all this damage, right? Because of the 7 damage. Okay, cool. 12 for medicine. You understand that it's as you're starting to get it more into the deep tissue, this is getting harder. Bast is starting to experience immense amounts of pain. This is stuff like nervous systems are starting to overload. Panic is starting to set in. This is something that he doesn't have conscious control over. This is full knee-jerk reaction. So he does flail. So we're going to suffer one complication from the failed strength save. And we're going to suffer one complication as while his flailing, you nick an arm artery there. So what's going to happen is that you suffer a wound. I want you to mark that down. Every time you have a wound, every time we start a new round, you take 1d6 damage, period. And they can
Bleeding
compound. They're cumulative.
Cool.
If you ever at any time get 3 wounds, you're out. And you start to bleed out.
I feel a little nostalgic seeing his blood like spray around.
Cool. You guys are keeping track of all that, right?
Back in
You
the good
don't
old
have a
days.
Can I
Right? Or do you?
can I do anything?
What would you like to try to do?
Burn a lay on hands point to close the wound?
Yeah, you need to touch yourself, but your arms are like put. Sure, I would say because you're under so much pain, I would just have you. Anytime you want to do something that has that type of mechanical, not necessarily concentration, but like intent, I'd like you to roll a concentration check to see if you can pull that out through the excruciating pain that you're doing. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
14.
14. I'll say that matches. Like, you know what? That's okay. That is really riding the line on that one. You're just making it. But yeah, you can dump some laying hands into yourself. I will say that it is risky because when you try to heal yourself, you could possibly
healing
close
the
up the
thing.
wound. Right.
I'm also stunned, so I actually can I do anything?
You could do it at like the beginning of next turn. I'm being a little bit more lenient with this. Same thing, how it's moving at the beginning of next turn.
Okay.
Before you get to it, like it still gets like a second or two to do stuff because you won't know to do it again until it starts to moving, and you do your best to reactively hit it. So all this stuff is happening very, very fast, which is why it's so hard to do. You guys are doing lightning fast surgery. Yeah, I have no problem with that. I'm more than happy to allow that. Cool. So you can heal those points with that 14. That's going to get harder and harder if you
Yeah.
want to try to do stuff. For example, if it requires somatic components, verbal's okay because you can speak through the canvas. Material and somatic are going to be a little more complicated.
That was more just lay on hands. I'm
Sure. Yeah, that's just an action
I'm
you can
touching
do.
myself
Yeah, you've got
to close the wound up.
You're full straight jacket and you're just like, I love myself. Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I believe that's the end of this one. What you do notice, you do make some progress despite all these complications. I will not let you know what these complications are other than the wounds. You know about the wounds. However, you have another complication here. I don't think there's any way you would know what's happening because it requires you to be fully there with what's going on.
Okay.
So, but you do know that this isn't the best case scenario.
All right.
Okay, let's move on. Next round. We're going to go back to Osfer.
This is the beginning of the third round?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I only have 7 key points. 5 damage.
Okay, stun goes through. Osfer, are you okay staying vanilla, or do you want to help somebody else?
I'll help.
Okay, so
sorry.
you're going to do
You're gonna-
full damage, not the D4.
D8. That's a lot more. 7, that's 10 total. Well,
So
yeah,
instead of
double.
5, so just an additional 5. Are you focusing or are you helping?
Oh, I'm still holding them right down.
Okay, so you want to focus fully on.
Yeah.
what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
doing.
I'm gonna help Len.
You're gonna help Len.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. The deception check was successful though, and that's gonna come up later, either this round or next round. Len, would you please then do your damage and then tell me what your medicine check is, unless you'd like to try something like you tried last round.
Okay. I did 6 damage,
Okay.
and I can see
Silver
this-
and key empowered, so it's full. Right.
Mm. I can see this isn't going too well. So while I'm in there, I'm gonna make one last effort, try to snatch a sample from in there if I can. Can I?
Oh, like cut and then just see if you can get it like
Yeah.
a droplet out before it retreats further inward.
Yeah, with my gloves on.
Sure, I'd say that's like a sleight of hand thing. This is you're trying to cut and grab at the same time, but you were helping him, right? So here's the deal: you can either roll at advantage with your medicine check, or roll straight with your medicine check, because this would be a disadvantage sleight of hand because you're trying to do 2 actions in the same round, or just roll straight with both because he gave you help.
You said a medicine and a sleight of hand.
You have to roll medicine and a sleight of hand because the sleight of hand is trying to grab it.
I'll roll straight with both.
Straight with both? You
Yep.
got it.
Nat 20 medicine.
Oh.
You cut just the right, like you carve just the right part of muscle out of the bone as you flip it open, and there's this large mass that doesn't have enough. That's like doing that whole magnet vibration thing of the harmony, where the ichor looks like that ferrous black material, where it's just vibrating and rippling and has those little spikes on it, and it just can't move, and it's stuck, and you have a big old piece of it.
And then 15 sleight of hand.
15 sleight of hand. That's the DC. Very well
I had
done.
a feeling.
What's up?
Finish what you were gonna say.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Because you did so well with your deception, Bast is not consciously aware of what's going on. Things going a lot worse than they are. Meaning the parasite is not fully aware of that. There is a chance, if you are ambitious enough, to remove it in its entirety here and now. But it's extremely risky.
Get your sample.
I have the rat at the ready.
I want to try so bad.
Do it.
Do you?
Do it.
What check would it be?
This would be another. I'll give you an option. You can either do a sleight of hand or a medicine check. You already have your vial ready to try to put this thing away. You could either try to throw it onto the rat or throw it onto the vial, whatever it is you'd like to do.
Do you have any?
There's also the
The
option
bag.
of like trying to just flay it with like create bonfire or whatever other druid thing you have or something else.
Yeah, it's done.
I'm holding
It's
him
up to
down.
you.
I've got
it
the
is-
bag ready to be opened.
It is hard. It is not an easy thing to do, but it is possible.
Do you have any inspiration?
I don't think I do.
Can I give him an inspiration?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
You have an inspiration.
I mean,
or you play it safe. You're almost
made
assuredly
rules.
to get your sample,
Do I know
and
if
Bass will be okay.
Do I know if fire even like harms this shit? Like, have we seen in the past or no? Do we not know?
They from what you have seen, if I remember correctly, is that they've taken more damage from things that are magical or elemental than they have just mundane non-magical stuff, just because they're so hardy evolutionary wise. If I remember correctly, they seem to be psychically attuned, biologically attuned. One of the big things is that if you remove it from its host, its days are numbered. If you can keep it that way.
Okay.
I will say, you got a nat 20 on that medicine check before. You're starting to see that surface that's spiking like that. You recognize what that is. That is a type of living creature that reacts to the atmosphere around it in a negative way. It's oxidizing. it can't survive in this atmosphere. That's why it needs a host. It can't oxygenate itself. It needs some other type of atmosphere. This atmosphere is toxic to it. Its surface is oxidizing. It's killing it. It needs a host to be able to like have a lung that it can parasite off of in order to be able to oxygenate red blood cells and give it something to be able to have it adapt. That's why it needs a host. It cannot survive in this environment. This world is toxic to it. That's what you realize from this.
Okay. I'm gonna try with the inspiration. I'm gonna try. I'm sorry, Adam, if I
Do
killed
it.
the character.
Yeah. So this is where, because you made the decision, I was going to tell you now, this is where that second complication comes in. If you fail this, there is a possible situation that this thing goes straight to your heart, and Bast begins the transformation now.
Okay.
But you already said you're going to do it. That's the complication because it's now in fight or flight, and it is going full flight.
It's
It is-
stunned.
It is like it's literally realizes that it could be dead right now, and it's very scared, and so it's going to try to go right to his heart.
It was medicine or what?
So here's the deal: either you get it all out now, or Bast starts to go through the transformation process right now.
We put you through so many like situations.
We've already
like
made the
that.
choice, though.
However,
This is the turn, right?
This is
so
the turn.
We could also do.
yes,
Could I also?
absolutely,
Okay.
yes, absolutely.
I'll let you do what you're doing, but
However, you guys have some luck on your
Yes.
side because guess what? Bast isn't just mortal. Bast is infected with lycanthropy, and lycanthropy is extremely obstreperous. It doesn't like other things trying to get into its heart, and
doesn't
this
like to
thing,
die.
guess what? Is not magical, and it's not silver.
Okay.
Meaning that whatever roll Bast would have to make, should the transformation process begin, would be at advantage.
All
Does
right.
that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like he's resistant to heart disease.
And I got inspiration, so it's
Do
just
what you're doing.
advantage.
Right, I have to tell you what role this is, though, right? First,
Yeah, sleight of
because-
hand is what I was gonna do.
Yes, correct. Yes, sleight of hand. I'm okay.
no.
No, it's okay. Keep whatever you rolled. Remember it.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember it. If you want, you can make this Arcana instead, and that is because you have
No, I'm doing sleight of hand.
access to those types of things. You realize the risk of this. You know this. Arcana would mean that not only would you be able to get rid of this and just be done, you would be able to get a sample to test with as well. Because you would be able to like kind of quarantine some off with some druidcraft and some other bits like that. All of these are risks, but they're all options open to you. There you see the probability branching, and you're like,
I
see the-
it again.
Yeah, I
See the
know.
wheels turning.
I'll do sleight of hand again. It's a
okay,
little less
so
risky.
we're going to just get this thing out of
A
here.
little less risky. Okay.
I think neither of those were very good. Is what the problem.
The rules with World Inspiration is that you can use as many as you like.
Got more.
I can give you
Wait,
one
as
as
many
well.
as
Can
you
he?
like.
Can he just keep throwing that at me?
You can keep throwing them, but they're gone.
Okay,
Let's use
that's
them.
I've
a
got 4.
that's
I'll
a 12, and that's a nat 1.
I'll burn another one. Roll again.
Yeah. You see, you try to grab for it, and it like at the last minute moves and slips through your fingers, and you see Bast like notice that you're struggling and see the wet coming off your brow, and just do that whole thing where he tries to halt his peristalsis and push things out as you see it start to. Like wringing a towel, his muscles tense up and squeeze, and you see it
Like a
kind of
tube of
seep
toothpaste.
out of the pores. Yeah, squeeze the toothpaste as he does his best, as much as he can, even though he's in immense pain to squeeze this thing out to
Oh,
make
I
it
hate
possible for you to
this.
be able to do it.
Gotta have a
again?
world inspiration.
He's absolutely soiled himself
Yeah,
at this
I-
point.
Okay.
I'll burn an inspiration point. So you
Do it.
can try one more time.
Better.
25.
25 was the DC, you motherfucker.
You
So
could not
you
have
tell
gotten
me
much closer.
how you grab this thing out of there and
Yes.
just absolutely dispose of it.
Okay.
All right. I grab the thing.
Put it in the jar.
I wrap my fingers under it. Like get my
Spaghetti
gloved
style?
fingers under it. Pull it out. And
The bag.
I'm wondering, like,
He finds like the main tumor and just
Yeah,
like,
you see all the like the sinews like.
I take a second and wonder, do I want to put it in the bag with the rat, or do I want to see if this will just die in my hand?
It
How
won't die
long
in
do
your
you
hand.
take?
Huh?
How long do you take?
I take just a split moment and I throw it in the bag.
You see, as you're holding it up there, you see it take a split second less time for you to think because it is more evolved and it thinks faster as it starts to crawl its way down your glove and it starts to get to the edge of where it could possibly be your flesh, and you whip your arm around to create centripetal force and shove it in the bag as you feel parts of the Icarus tendons that are reaching out snap from your very fingers. The last one to leave is from your thumb that's wrapped around. It goes, and it's into the bag.
Tie the bag, tie the bag, tie the bag,
You
tie
tie
the
the
bag.
bag up, and you hear the most
Oh.
incomprehensible, pained screams of.
All right.
There's a horror scene going on in there.
And I'm gonna run over to the fire, put my gloved arm down on it, and then put my foot up onto my arm, and then like rip the glove off my arm while it's on the fire.
Brilliant, because guess what? Leather is an organic material. Fuck you. Fucking had you.
Then
oh my fucking god.
I'm gonna run over to where we had those iron boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of them intact?
Only one of them was destroyed, if I remember correctly, by
I dropped the bag,
blasts.
By
yeah.
the way,
Yeah, you dropped the bag.
it's tied up. It's
It is a.
writhing.
It's skin though.
I
a
remember.
leather
Is
bag.
it the skin bag?
it's
Yes.
a skin bag.
Yeah, I'm
So it
saying.
is far less porous than something like a burlap. But
but it's
But
you
it's
are very
organic.
well aware that it is
Yeah.
an organic material.
I'm going over and grabbing one of those boxes,
Yeah.
and I'm running back over, and I see this bag. I grab another cloth, put it in my hand, pick up the bag, throw it in the iron like lockbox, and shut the box.
Okay, cool. Can't lock it. You don't have the key.
I just put my boot on it. Now we'll think about how we're gonna keep this closed if we
I
have to.
think we
about
can
it.
overcome the strength check. Of
You
a rat.
can dispose of this. You're very well aware that you could dispose of this. Do you want to throw the box into the fire to heat it up to be like red hot?
I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
To bake it inside? Because you're smart. This is something you would absolutely think of. I'm happy to give you that. Yeah. Put your leather, put your foot on the leather, pull the glove off, have it in the fire, whip around, throw it into the box. King clang. You kick. You don't even grab the box. You just kick it up, and you hit it with your elbow as it. You're a ranger. This is your bread and butter, and you knock this thing into the fire as you just hear nothing but that sizzling sounds of flesh and decay and that roast beef, other white meat type of smell that you've been familiar with in the past.
long pork.
Yes, long pork, as they say. And
I'm sorry about
eventually
that.
the squeals begin to die off. Bast, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to roll a constitution check.
I'm gonna burn the rest of my lay on hands, like all of them.
Cool. You're also like open.
Hey,
So this is just for you to maintain consciousness.
one more thing. I'm gonna rest my boot on the fire for a little bit and hope it burns anything that might be on it away, and I'll
You
burn
got it.
myself.
Do you want
if I
to? Do you
have
just
to.
take your boot off, or do you want to just?
No,
put
I
your
just
boot-
put my foot on it. on the
Okay,
fire.
cool.
Not
You
risking
definitely hear the
touching the boot.
sizzling. You do know that your boot is leather. At some point, your leather's going to heat up to the point where it's just going to stick to this metal box, and it's just going to melt.
That's fine. I'll try.
Or we're going to leave a nice big old brand on there. The leather will catch fire at some point.
Yeah, I'll try to pull my foot out. If it sticks
Okay,
to the
cool.
box, I'll try
I'm
to
just
pull
going
my
to
foot out.
say, for the sake of argument, if you want to make 100% sure of this, okay, so you will take 10 points of fire
That's
damage.
fine. It's fine.
Okay, you got it.
It's a natural 20. For 22.
Natural, get the fuck out of here. All right, I need a bathroom break 'cause I can't. All right, so, congratulations, y'all. Bast is
I'm gonna
barely
use-
conscious.
Use 5 of the lay on hand points
Sure.
to do the full like flushing
Right.
poison like contaminants
Yeah, dialysis.
out of my system.
You got it. Absolutely. You
So it's
can
only
do
a
so.
partial heal.
This is fine. I will say that this is such an egregious wound
Sure.
that you've been
Yeah, yeah.
flayed with that any type of you would essentially be suffering from only the third tier of exhaustion from this. Disadvantage on attack rolls and saving throws is the only thing that you're going to be suffering for this until someone can really give you some real medical care and you can have another long rest. Does that make sense?
Sure.
That way you can like get stitched up and really taken care of for and have tough enough bed rest for it to be proper. Magic can absolutely speed these things along, but fuck, that was a lot. You carved all the way down to the bone.
Like the tendrils that like got sucked out of my chest.
Oh,
left
so much
wound
damage
channels.
of them.
Yeah.
It's like ripping roots out of somebody's intestines.
Yep.
It sucked.
Hey,
It's
we've
bad.
done that before.
Yeah, you have them, and it sucked, didn't it? So you guys do that a lot,
I feel
actually,
like you
don't you?
might. Okay, you may not have use of your arm. While that.
That's
Full-
essentially
full on like muscles
Yeah.
been severed back here.
that's essentially what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why you have disadvantage because you're
Right.
you're just not using that arm because if you do,
Someone's got to sew me back together before I can
exactly,
do
you could
anything.
tear the stitches. You're gonna fuck up your
Don't
healing
worry, I
regimen.
have more sharp things to put in here.
Okay,
I've got any limb
so
rats, so.
that's what you'll be suffering from for now. You can ignore that. But it would mean that you would add 2 more days of recovery on to what it is that you're doing because you're going to tear your stitches, you're going to aggravate the wound, you could you open yourself to infection, all these other types of things, and sepsis. You went through surgery. Recovery time's a long time.
It's fine. We've got plenty of time to recover and gloat. I'm sure Greaves will probably be really annoyed that we were able to figure out how to do this.
Save me.
Yeah.
So you did this. It's fine. It's still in somewhat type of public. It's now my turn to roll to see if anybody noticed what it is that you did and recognize what this ichor was that you removed from it. Because this is type of like a mass hysteria panic type of thing. Because that type of stuff to people means we're done. Our whole civilization
I
is
thought
gone.
we were in the tent when we did this.
Nope.
The tent was torn down to wrap Bast
Yeah.
in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then
he's
we
full
were not in the
burrito
tent.
man
We're,
right
Yeah.
now.
we're like in the campfire.
Okay.
You had to be
circle.
right next to the campfire to
okay.
like, sanitize your
Yep.
stuff.
What is your intelligence?
You fucks.
16.
I rolled a natural one.
Are you gonna take a? Are we gonna do a break?
Wait,
I
maybe
just
was
need to,
actually like smart
Oh,
as
okay.
fuck.
Yeah.
I just figured.
But go
Figured
ahead.
that
Now
out.
you guys
People
can talk about
underestimate
and
her
gloat
because she's
about
kind of a valley
yourselves.
girl.
I feel like
Maeve
Greaves
is like smart as
is
hell.
not-
Hanky Line
She
saw
just
it
Yeah.
because he was right there.
Yeah.
has
I just think Greaves is gonna
her
be
like
annoyed at us.
social skills in the
Like,
world at large.
He kind of
suck.
doesn't. I get the feeling like he doesn't
People just
really
don't see
like
her
us.
out there.
He's just like.
But she's
"God
also
damn
like
Yeah.
real strong. So,
So
She has both.
yeah.
thank you
She has
She's
the
got
bar and the
everything.
brains.
very much for saving my life. But also, we didn't figure anything out.
Yeah, we did. Well,
We
We
figured
saved
out.
your life.
did.
Well, Len.
Thank you
Len
very
knows.
much.
Len knows a lot about this thing now.
First of all, thank you for saving my life. Period, flat. But also, we didn't get to experiment on it. We didn't get to test it.
Yeah.
He ripped it out of me and killed it, which I'm alive. Thank you very much. But we still don't know anything.
Yeah. I thought about it.
Yeah.
Well, we know that it oxidizes.
I thought about it and figured I didn't
I
want
would
to
rather you
risk
say
dooming this
me,
place.
Yes.
Or rather, I thought about keeping.
And the threat rather than.
Because who knows if that rat could have like mutated or something,
Yeah.
or escaped or anything like that, and
We're not
destroyed
exactly
this
in
whole
a
place.
Sterile environment here.
Yep. In that moment, I decided I didn't feel like risking this whole place.
Yeah.
I got some ideas of what we can do. So we know where there's a whole home full of people infected with this stuff. So we can go do some experiments.
We barely saved you.
I know.
Although, I mean, do you think that if we offered them literal proof that we could do this, that they wouldn't at least try? I mean, their only other option is.
Well, here's the
fall.
thing. Here's the thing now. Also, we didn't have any anesthetic or anything like that to
Yeah.
use. It's entirely possible that if that was used on someone, then the parasite would react in the same way and kind of like go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it would be entirely possible to operate on someone with the parasite being asleep and
Yeah.
then pulling it out.
And maybe with what we know about that it can't survive oxygen, maybe Greaves can do some tinkering. I don't know if you can like splice someone open and put
Just
like a
flush them
flute
with-
down there, but just
Fill them
bam,
with oxygen.
fill 'em
Yeah.
with oxygen.
like a balloon.
You know, I'm not very learned
So-
in these scientific ways.
My other thought is, without using me as the test subject, the whole invisibility thing is still on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If one of those people does have powerful magic, one of them turns invisible, and the other one tries to
Okay.
end the creature.
That's a very good
We've
point.
got
You
options.
have a huge hole in you. Can we fix that?
Yeah.
That's a very good point, Bast. You're well
can miss you
aware
on
of
casting
things
some
like
cure wounds on
teleportation
them.
magic. If this thing would count as a creature, if you could see it, it would be. It's possible. If you can teleport another thing, vortex warp, you could pull something out of somebody else and put it somewhere else.
Metagaming, that's what I told
Yeah.
Alex, is that if Trisheni was around, she totally could have saved my life.
Okay,
Isn't that just keep popping up? As if Trisheni was around, if Noel was around, Adam would be saved. His characters would be
So
saved.
happy.
Oh,
well,
Trisheni great.
hey, I love that we 3 characters who have no magic
yes.
fucking ever.
Now we're left. I'm magical.
All of you are magical except for
Mundane as
Uh,
fuck.
barely though. Like,
you have magical arrows. Like
yes. Oh no, that's what I mean though. Like we are very
also you
much
have your
like
lineage magic too.
we're very like
Technically, I'm
physical damage.
I'm 3/4
classes, though.
magic. Like I'm a warlock with a little bit of paladin. Like I'm mostly magic.
Okay,
So-
you're 3/4 magic on your dad's side.
So
Exactly.
for your benefit, because I want to make
just
sure
can't
that
do
you
it for
get
myself.
as much from this as possible. A lot of stuff, a lot of information was dumped on you in a very high, tense situation there. So let's review real quick. Things that you learned. The Icarus entities cannot exist without a host. This might be a good time to write these things down because it's super. This is super helpful, because this is one of the reasons why you said going to the future might be helpful, is to try to find out how to beat these
Yep.
things. You found out a lot of information thanks to Len and Bast and all you guys working together. Needs a host or it can't survive. The air, the atmosphere is toxic to it, which is one of the major reasons why it cannot survive outside of a host. Should parts of the host or the host of which it is inhabiting, whether that be a piece of a lung or something, be killed, destroyed, or removed from the mass, the days are numbered on the Icar. What's up?
I can't metagame.
You can't.
You said if any organs are damaged, then the Icar will probably retreat to the heart.
Right. Because it is a parasite, it needs a host to survive. Even if it's just a piece of the host, if it was just like one lung that's floating along in the mass that it's using to oxygenate the blood that it gets from the oxygen, so it can probably do it because it can adapt so well. It needs something of this world in order to use as its heart, in order to be able to exist in this world. Make sense? Mm-hmm. If that is removed, destroyed, or otherwise, it cannot survive for a protracted amount of time. It doesn't mean that it will be killed instantly. It just means that it will eventually decay and die.
It is actively dying.
It is actively dying unless it is able to find another host. You also saw that once that stuff is removed, it has no other purpose than to find a host. It will go to extreme lengths, and this thing is very, very ambitious, driven, strong, motivated, and fast as fuck. You've seen how fast these things move. So, those are 3 big things. If I don't, then it's so pure parasite as well. Purely biological. Meaning, and you also realize that it also takes on the properties once it starts to infest and like transform DNA, it begins to take on the properties of the host, meaning that anything that the host suffers, it does as well.
Yeah.
So if the host is vulnerable to something, so is the parasite. If the host is resistant to something, so is the parasite. It is a perfect parasite. It will take, it's very Borg-like. It will take all of your advantageous thing, add your biological and technological advancements, add it to itself, and use that to evolve. And it will do, and that is its only purpose, as if you've been able to see so far.
We should ask Anki to tell Greaves about all this. I figure he'll probably want to know.
I mean, I'm sure that man's always paying attention to what's going on.
Oh, he's probably not actively monitoring us.
The man's been alive for 800 years. He's gathering as much information as he can get his hands on.
At the very least, we also know if any of us get infected again, we'd know what must be done.
Yep.
He says
Well-
that out loud. Can you roll a history or a nature check for me? You
figure
can do these at
even if he's
advantage.
just
This
watching,
is
all he would see is that we were able to cut it.
absolutely.
And he wouldn't know that
You can do this
all
at
the
advantage,
other
Mally. This is something you would
things that we
absolutely.
took out.
Yeah.
That's a 16.
I
16. As
did.
far as you remember, Greaves is a gnome. Gnomes don't live for 800 years. That is almost twice as long as what gnomes should be able to live. That
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
I keep that in my head, but I'm like, you know what? We've been through so much
did
bullshit.
say out
Who
loud the
knows?
things
Maybe
that I
some
figured
magic,
out,
some
which
shit,
were-
some machinery.
No, it still
Alright.
can't hurt to talk to him.
Yeah.
All right,
Albeit
Len?
through a game of telephone.
we need to sew him up. And
Yeah.
all right, I can do the sewing if you tell me what needs to be.
Let me try this first. See if we can spare Bast a bit more pain.
Let's
I'm
help
just
it.
gonna cast Cure Wounds on you a bunch.
Okay.
I will offer my thoughts and prayers.
I'm just
I'm
holding
helping.
I'm holding my needle and thread
I
at the
already
ready,
helped him.
just
I
like
hit him in the face a lot.
You also stabbed him a couple times.
So you get 12 health back.
The longsword.
Do another one,
I mean that doesn't fix like this grievous wound, right?
and then another 15 health back.
So this would explain why things like cold iron would work so well against a majority amount of the Ichor, because their hosts are
Faye.
Yes.
the Fae that invaded. See how it all makes sense now? You're starting to see the big picture. You've accrued amazing amount of wealth information. There are so many weaknesses you've now realized of this by traveling into the future, just by this. Also, Bast is, more or less okay. That's huge.
does
Was
the-
not expecting that. Natural 20 and then 25. Fuck.
Does the magical healing, like 2 pulses of Cure Wounds,
Second level.
plus
Cure
my
Wounds.
own like lay on hands ability, does that
You have
close
been
the wound?
yeah.
Or is that more or less I'm still like I need somebody to
That
put me
has
back
like
together?
repaired the deep tissue, allowed the muscles to reattach to the bone. All of the more severe bits.
Seems just some rest will do the rest
Yeah,
of
that's
it.
why like you still need the stitches, and the superficial and the top stuff is what needs
know
the
how to
time. A lot
Do
of
not take this away from me.
No. I'm like imitating you. Like, you know how to sew.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just tell me what to sew together.
This little flap of flesh right there, and that
Okay.
little one right there.
love this.
Stitch and
My head canon about that is that the rest that's required for those types of things that the magic can't heal is your nervous system relearning how to attach itself and move those and send electrical signals to that. Because you can heal the flesh, but the mind
So
is much more difficult.
I want to try a little bit of extra flourish.
she sews her initials.
No, no. I was going to say while I
middle name?
Oh no, I was going to.
I need to know right now.
That's a challenge.
I was
question for
okay. I was
later.
going to say I stitch. Actually, what is Bast's like full first name?
Bastion.
Bastion.
Bastion. Yeah, I embroider Bastion down the.
Into your flesh.
Yes.
So you have a scar tattoo then
Like a
when it
name
heals.
tag.
It's all like cross stitch, crochet,
This
bastion down
arm
your.
belongs to Bastian.
If found.
If found, return to Bastion.
But yeah, no, that's
Nothing
the
else
thing
sounds
now.
like
You've
I definitely stole this
I think
arm
I-
and
I
reattached
think I remember
it to
seeing like an
myself.
article once. I don't know if it was real or not at all, but like someone saw that their surgeon like put their initials on like an organ after a surgery or
They
whatever.
signatured the surgery.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's also like so violating.
That honestly goes hard as fuck. I'm gonna be mad.
You want to be that petty?
Yeah.
No, like if my surgeon put their initials on one of my
scarification's a real
organs,
thing. Like,
Okay.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah.
so funny. I
I have a
wouldn't
question
be
for you.
mad.
Do you have time? His bone, his
No,
bone
no,
is there.
fuck no.
Do you
I
want to
wouldn't do
carve
that. I would not do that.
Len's
Scarf-
initials into
Carl
his
Lynn
bone?
was here.
Scarification's a real like you can
Yeah.
you can really do this.
Yeah, I have an
Yeah,
ex-girlfriend
it's a real
who has a nice like scarification piece on her whole arm. Like,
Cool.
I'll show you pics later if you want to see. But
I'm like planning a whole scarification tattoo where it's just boop, 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 boop.
Nope.
Yeah, no, Len would not do that.
okay.
He'd probably be disgusted by that. I'm not though. I think.
But
that's
Maeve literally
Well,
sews his name into
Yes, I
his-
sew
his-
Bastian into his arm as I am sewing up his
So
arm.
superficial scarring.
Yes, exactly.
love it.
It's like a connect the dots. It's like
Hey,
be
Like, who is your love? Myself.
Wait. It just occurred to me I could have cast Hold Person on Bass.
you could have.
yeah, but like
Could have.
I got to have a moment, so
It also means that all of the damage you would have been doing to him while you were surgery would have been doubled. Because he would have been incapacitated and everything would have been critical.
Well,
What,
it doesn't
what was your health before?
doesn't hold person break when you do damage.
No.
No, hold person breaks when you save from the wisdom saving throw.
Which is why it's so fucking gnarly.
It
Yes,
also
but
paralyzes
all-
you and incapacitates you, which makes it everything a critical
All the
hit.
damage gives you a
Crit
save.
melee.
Like each damage gives you a save. Doesn't
No,
it?
no, it's
think
it's
so.
on the end of your turn, or the beginning of your turn. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Which is why
that's
it's
mostly with a
so
charm effect.
It's the
crazy.
charms that are damage.
but you're an elf. So
I was
it's
at
hard to
full
do that.
65. You guys took me down to like 20.
Yeah, that wouldn't bad.
damn, we didn't kill.
But with all the
Bast.
healing, I'm back up to 61.
Not
We'll
even
talk
down to
about what
God.
the possible
digits.
complications could have
So-
been during the Fey Files because you guys
Yes,
are gonna
please.
freak out.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to know this. Okay, so you're up and you're up. You're not feeling super great, but
I'm not.
you've got your name on your arm, which is amazing, I might say.
You see the cross stitch of your name there? It's like bloody and crusty.
Oh, I believe me, it'll look amazing in like a week.
It is very well done. She does know what she's doing.
Yes,
Thank y'all. All
you're
of you.
very welcome.
That's like a flapjack gag.
So it sounds like we might need to take a little rest.
Might I suggest we
You
go to
can't
this?
sleep now. You just woke up.
Yeah.
That
No, I
was
mean,
another.
take it easy today.
That
not
was another
rest, but, like,
clarification that I guess I wanted to ask you. Since I don't actually sleep, I just trance. Is there a limitation on how many times I can?
The way I run it is, you can only take a long rest.
You can only like
every
gain the benefits of
24
a long
hours.
rest.
Yeah,
Okay.
the way I run. Otherwise,
It defeats.
it's gonna
the,
be yeah.
Yeah.
like,
It's,
I'm-
it make you can spam it.
You
can
need to
cheat.
have some type
Yeah.
of thing that you're trying to recover from. Even that, you need to have. Withholding of any extraneous circumstances that could perhaps alter your mental state, perhaps like a paraffin drip or like a phenobarbital or something like that to actually put you into a coma,
medically induced.
medically induced coma. You would need to be physically and mentally exhausted in order to do that type of thing. Granted, surgery is that, but surgery is also induces things like anesthesia, so you can rest.
Surgery while I'm awake is.
Yeah, and unfortunately, because you're an elf, spells like sleep and anything like that won't work on you.
So it sounds like we might want to just take it easy for the rest of the day. Let yourself rest.
So fun thing, when you get LASIK, they don't put you under either. So technically, I've had surgery
Yes.
without anesthetic. It's amazing. Anyway,
Fucking
so
weird. I'll never do it. I will go blind before I get laser.
I had laser
They,
surgery
uh,
on my eyes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going no in character though. Okay, you don't look so great. That was a lot. Also, Talio still hasn't come back. We should probably wait here a while, see if he comes back.
Yeah.
I have.
If we run off, he'll never find us again.
We know there's a place where they care for people that are ill. It's not
Okay.
necessarily like a hospital, but they can take care of people. And they can also make use of what we have found out.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go to the place where they do this palliative care of the infected? We can leave Taleo a note, tell him where we're going.
Well, we have some theories, and we might know how to kill it, but we don't know how. What we don't have is like solid plans.
No.
Like we don't have like a.
Oh, I've got 2 plans.
If we stop this from spreading in the first place, no one will be affected. And I think the only reason we could save
That's
you
fair.
was you were pretty early in
Okay.
the infection.
Okay.
If they've been infected for weeks, we're looking at like a mega toffle situation.
Was Bast pretty early in the infection? Because Bast was
Yeah, like
looking
a day.
bad.
Good
'Cause
day.
Bast was looking
Day and a
bad.
half,
Day and a half.
How long does it? Do we know how long it takes?
like the gestation.
Yeah, for someone just to like totally fucked up.
I mean,
Toffle was gone. Well, I killed Toffle, so it doesn't
your
really
frame of
count.
reference are either Toffle, your only frame of reference is from being uninfected to being infected at all, are Bast and Toffle. Those are your own. Actually, you don't even know because you met Toffle after he was infected.
Right.
Remember, under his skull cap,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
lip cap,
We've
he was
never
already
studied
infected.
something from infection.
Bast is your only
to
reference.
end. That's what I'm like.
What
These
if we-
people have knowledge, and
what
we
if-
can give them more knowledge, and maybe together we can figure out a real way to cure people.
Yeah.
At the very least, should we
Person that would know would.
tell Greaves about the
Yes.
ichor and the rat in the
Actually,
bag and
I
the
think we
thing
should
and the
definitely
fire?
tell him.
Yeah. Also, we can ask Greaves how long the infection period, how long it
Yeah, he
takes.
might
for
know
you
that
Oh,
to-
we can have him give him the once over one more time just to make sure he's clear and
If we're staying here in camp, I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah, they
Please
could even
do.
scan
Please
him
do.
again to double check our work, right? They have the scanners.
Oh
They
yeah,
could scan
it's
him
true.
again.
You'd have to go back to the,
You'd have to go
the
back to
broken
the-
orrery.
which means going back to the surface, which means risking getting picked up.
Yeah.
okay.
So I say we save that until we're ready
Yeah.
to go confront these elven folk.
Don't remind me. I've been ignoring that. I don't want to deal with that.
I know. I just,
Yeah.
I think as a last resort, they're a definite place we need to try.
Probably.
Yeah, it would be a dick move to not try to help these people.
I
at
mean,
this point.
like
I pause for saying to be a dick move.
if we hit a dead end and we got nowhere else to go, I say
Okay.
we at least try that avenue.
Okay. I just.
You may end up in a cell and we end up dead, but
Oh, I hate this plan.
it couldn't hurt. It could hurt.
It definitely will if you're dead. Yes. You should know being dead hurts.
It does.
I like this being my head canon as like the closest Maeve gets to compassion.
Combative.
Combative, like you don't get to do that because that affects me. Stop dying.
Yeah. If you die, I will be sad.
If we have no way of getting back to the past, if we have no way of stopping all this, then going to them elves can't hurt anymore.
I mean, I think we were planning on it eventually. I just.
I really don't want to do it.
First things first, though. Let's talk to Greaves.
Yeah.
Through the mycelium.
Do you want to grab one of the Onculons?
The blobby, pillory abomination is still somewhere.
It's like
around
leaning
here.
up against the wall, just kind of like slapping the ground a little bit because it got knocked over kilter a little bit, so now it's in a position where it's kind of stuck, like a.
I'll walk
it
over
can't
and
move.
set them back right.
King
I go,
Anki.
Oh. Mighty kind of you.
King Anki, could you get us in touch with Greaves?
I'll never get used to that. That affectation.
I go into the tent.
You want
Leo's
to talk
tent.
to Greaves?
Yes.
Okay.
You see one of like the feet just monkey toes the morel and just spreads it open and tries to shape it into a type of vocal cord and then plucks it like a string across the web of mycelium as you just hear, "Hello? What?"
We've got some information for you. I think you might like it.
"Me too. Who wants to
Well-
go first?"
You go first.
Okay, there's a harrier headed right your way.
Underground?
Yeah. Usually they just leave everybody alone, but something's got them in a tizzy, and they really want
How'd they find us?
the Urielors you have.
How'd they find us?
They put about 50 harriers underground to try to find the hanging nadirs. And I have a network, obviously, of people looking out for this. And look, it's a matter of time.
Okay.
I can't
Okay.
cause a wide panic, but I'm doing my best to inform the people that need to be. I'm sure you've noticed, and you start to look around, and it's a little more bare than what you've noticed before. People just kind of start slinking off into corners and cracks.
Okay, let me get to the point while we have a second then. We successfully managed to remove the ichor from our friend and destroy it.
We cured him.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, like really?
Yep.
How? I mean, how?
Listen, we used an invisibility spell. The ichor lagged behind a moment. We were able to see.
I'm aware of that. Yeah.
Sure. We cut him open and ripped it out. Threw it in a bag, threw it on a fire.
The only way we were able to do
I'm
that
sorry.
was
You
we stunned
cut
him.
him open and ripped it out. How?
We stunned him. The ichor takes on properties of the host, enough so that when I'm able to stun him, it stunned the ichor long enough.
Non-magically. You didn't put them to sleep. You paralyzed them.
I'll tell him what we know. I'll tell him. I'll
Cast
tell him.
lower down.
Obviously, they need a host. They need the atmosphere, air, oxygen kills it.
Cool. I know all that information. So save you some time.
Yeah, all that
The everything they know already, except when you talk about how the method of you
because there's
stunning.
no monks, no one's stunning people.
There's no monks left. There's no key is neither magical nor mundane. It's entirely spiritual,
Yeah.
and they don't have them anymore. Nice
I'm
fucking
your
pull,
savior,
Alex.
Greaves.
Yeah, and so he realized that's what I was missing. The techniques have been lost. I mean, some of them were my friends.
I will train a legion
Could,
of monk doctors.
could
This
you,
is great news, but also the worst news you could ever give me, because that means that no matter that this is the only way, and that we can't do this.
could you use an
I
chemical paralytic?
No. No, as much as I've tried to make some sort of simulative, artificial thing for whatever it is the monks that do, there's a reason why they were what they were. They had some sort of skill that transcended even the primordial. It's why they were able to buy us so much time.
In best case scenario, we can return to the past where there are monks, where we can do something about this. If you want to help us, be helpful in any way, do anything you can to figure out how to get us back.
Right, time. If I want to put you in a further, at an earlier point in the time stream,
We're going to flee now. We'll try to contact you whenever, if ever we can.
of course, but before, I can't promise that I can maintain contact with you. Are you familiar with any of the works by Tritarian Gourmand?
Who?
You are.
Am I? Oh.
That's the conspiracy theorist.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. There was crazy theories that the Aaron box had some sort of effect on time and they could influence in some type of way. I have tried. I've only been able to stop time in its entirety, but I haven't been able to put anything back in time. The last time I tried, it got turned inside out and it exploded.
But they could get us there.
The best hope we've got is their debt to Maeve.
Yeah. That's one hell of a favor, though.
Two things.
Their debt?
Yes.
They owe you something?
Well, yes.
They cannot refute a debt.
Oh, period.
Period. if they refute a debt, I mean, their entire structure of them being ruling, their entire reputation of them never doing anything wrong and always been the most epitome of the greatest thing, if they would ever refuse a debt, it would invalidate all of their power. The entirety of all of the remnant cities would revolt.
If we
Yeah, but I don't want to ask her for help. She's kind of a bitch.
Right. Totally
we're gonna have to
understandable.
wait, if we walked into the streets and said, "This elf or the Iron Blocks have a debt to this elf," would they let us waltz right in?
You would be gold. Better than gold.
Okay,
Platinum.
cool. Furthermore,
Untouchable.
I mean, is gold worth anything anymore? I mean, I thought we went over that.
I'm old-fashioned. Sorry.
how about one of us also joins the mycelium network so we can contact you more easily?
I think one of you already has.
Did we?
Talia.
Talia. Kind of.
But if you want to, you just have to eat this.
This fingernail.
Do you know where?
Actually, I'm used to eating people. That's fine.
Oh, Bass just grabs it and eats it. Just crunch, crunch, crunch. Bast is part of the network. I want you to write that down on your character sheet somewhere. You're part of the network now.
Wait, does that work through
Now
time?
and in the past.
We're gonna find out.
The same spores, my dude. There's no way you could not
Time
understand
spores.
that. Yeah, mycelium is
A flat circle.
it's a flat circle, kind of like that. Yeah, it's a circle.
How deep does it go, man?
About 6 inches. So, shut up. That's not what I meant. I meant it actually the roots of. Okay. Anyway, full force communicate. Okay. Anyway, a lot of stuff. Whoa.
Oh, that's fun.
TJ, shouldn't you
No.
turn off all your
the
notifications?
Microsoft Word
when
thought
you-
I was trying to get it to talk.
Wait, I can make
Two
noises.
questions before they capture us.
Wait. If a Harrier is headed your way, if you want to turn yourself in, your precious cargo. That's it.
Yeah, we let them get us. Yes?
Yeah, if that's what
Take
you
us
want.
to your leader? You
Yeah.
owe us a favor?
Yeah. I don't even have that kind of power.
We don't really have a choice now.
Can I roll an insight against the Graves just to be safe?
You absolutely can.
We never do that.
That's
You're connected
20.
to the network now.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You can as well, but I'm going to give you the same type of roll that I gave to Leo, where if you'd want to, you're going to have to tap into the network. And if you fail the check, you will take permanent intelligence damage.
I've already been through enough today. I'm not risking anything.
Okay. Dirty 20. Mally, you are on fucking
I've
fire today.
only been making rolls this session that have my best modifier.
You are on fire. As much as you can tell, the intonation in the voice, the quavers in his vibrato, all those types of things, he's being straight with you, but you feel like there's something he's also not saying. There's something here that this man is too old, too wise, and too experienced for him to allow something so important to go by and to occur without him some way benefiting from it. This is not out of the kindness of his own heart as much as, not like he's trying to make it appear as such, but he very well will have some ulterior motives that are not aware, that you are not aware of at this moment. You don't feel like he's trapping you and like trading you for favor. That doesn't feel like the type of person he is. But there is, and this is separate from all the information that he just gained from you telling him how to like do this stuff, but also realizing that there's no way that he can do that because they're all gone. The practice is gone. All of them are dead, except for you. But also is aware that you're a person out of time, and for you to stick around is not probable, and that's when it occurs to you.
Oh, he might
You
try to
think that
steal
he
me.
wants Osfer, and he'll go to any lengths to get
I
Osfer.
might be kidnapped. I would
dissect him, hold him,
I
do
would
whatever
it
it
for free,
takes.
man. For the love of the
But
game.
willing to turn Osfer over to the Aeon box in order to get him, dead or alive.
Gonna have to fight.
I'm gonna tell him.
So
as
it's not
well.
necessarily like it's very gray. It's very gray. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh man, I could.
I'm gonna
Blazing
tell
Saddles hold
him.
myself hostage.
One more thing I need to add. You take our one source of a spiritual power, our monk, and I drop that terrazine in the center of the city.
Do you have the terrazine? I want you to roll an intimidation check at advantage here. Does Greaves know that you have the terrazine?
He does not.
I don't think he does.
But who would know
Shit.
anything about terrazine except those that know what it fucking
It was an advantage. So yeah,
Just a 6.
at advantage, really 6.
My charisma shit.
You hear, sure. I mean, I wouldn't. I need. Look, you're running out of time.
Two
I don't
questions.
feel like your threat was given too much of credence.
Have you used the invisibility
Although I'm scared now.
lag to try and target just the creature with magic?
No, I'm sorry. The what lag?
The invisibility lag.
Yes,
So like try and rip it out while it's the only thing visible?
yes, of course we have.
It didn't work.
Unfortunately, most of the cases that we get are already too far gone. And I'm not allowed to do that anymore. I did that once, and it was a catastrophic... It was a problem.
Have you tried
So
cutting?
I haven't been able to work on a live subject in... Well, you're the first in a very long time.
Did you try cutting down to it and pumping necromancy into it?
I had one opportunity to work with live subject. Everything else was with war autopsies.
What do you know about necromancy?
I mean, more than
Don't want to worry about it.
Oh, I'm just over here like, is this Bast asking or is this
you got
You don't need to ask no questions.
Adam asking?
you got people in a place where they could potentially take advantage of these thoughts against each other.
There's no...
The palliative care home.
The what?
There's a home down here for the.
Aeon told us about a place where these people spend their end days.
What?
I'm sure some of them would be
Quarantined
willing
away.
to.
Ankeline, have you... Are you able to keep things from me?
I'm sorry, friend.
Oh.
I didn't mean to do that.
Connection terminated. I'm so sorry.
Just gonna have to go now.
Do we run and hide or do we let ourselves?
As far as my sensors can show, the Harrier is about 600 feet away and about to descend. Most of people have evacuated. I believe it's your time too, and it just collapses.
Run,
We can't fight them.
surrender.
I think so.
There's not much.
That
Osfer.
was a lot all at the same time. You guys blew my whole story wide open. Wow.
Osfer. You probably heard. Greaves probably wants you.
I mean,
because of
I'd
your
help these
power.
people for free.
He doesn't strike me. No.
If we had the opportunity to leave, you would stay.
You
That
can do more good back in the past.
I
than
would
you
do more
can
good
here.
back in the past, but if we're not leaving right now, yeah, I would help these people.
You are also one specifically trained to do the way it is that you do, because most other monks have to touch. And you don't.
Yeah,
And that's rare.
I could train a legion of doctor monks,
That whack people.
curing people with a long sword.
If we go back,
Then none of this happens. In
Yeah.
Postman.
then we won't have to
That's
worry
the
about any
ideal
of this.
scenario. But
Right.
if we happen to stick around for a while, yeah, sure, I'll help.
You help 'em.
That's ridiculous.
Of
Why
course
would I
you
not
are.
do that?
Yeah.
But if they're gonna try to trap me here to force me to help,
Get down on my knees.
they're gonna have to catch me first.
Hands on my head.
Put your hands on the head. You start to hear
I can always hold myself hostage.
echoing through the chamber that is now mostly empty, as many of the tents have been abandoned and people are scattering. There's not too panicked as Onculine is everywhere. So the rate of dissemination of information is faster than our contemporary version of it.
Instant.
But it also means that
It's like an emergency
Onculine
alert today, without the annoying
seems
noise.
to evolve to the point where he's able to keep things from people from certain platforms that are part of
Who's
his.
always able to do that?
Yeah.
I want to lean
He
into
was,
Osfer.
he was, but
Greaves.
Greaves
No.
trusted
From-
him,
yeah.
and Onculine didn't.
I'm gonna lean into Osfer while that's all happening, and I'll whisper, "Do you know what terrazine is?"
I'm pretty sure I don't know.
Oh, you absolutely would know what terrazine
Oh, really?
is. Yes, terrazine is. It's widespreadly known by many of the terrarian peoples of the continent of CrestVahllen and of the western, farther continents past the boundless Silesia. That is, terrazine is a alchemical concoction of crystal that does naturally occur. I'm sorry, not an alchemical
Yeah,
concoction.
I
later.
mean,
It is a
meta knowledge I know about terrazine.
yeah,
Okay.
it has been naturally occurred and is used to power as a magical catalyst many of the constructs and materials of the Magitech within the Razorfang agreement, but it is extremely volatile, and if it touches any other type of matter other than a spent version of itself, which is like clear and the only thing that can buffer it from any other type of matter, it proliferates and spreads
Yeah.
and turns everything into itself.
Yeah. So I'm gonna tell you, I have a little tiny bottle of it on me. Do you want it in case they come for you and threaten them or
How
something?
much do you have?
Little bottle of like one.
Like a
cri-
sliver, or
just a bottle with a
like
crystal.
a
at the end.
styrite, like me, or I'm sorry, just like a whole. It's an
He's got a crystal in a bottle.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's enough to wipe out like a quarter of a city.
Cool. Do you want it?
Yeah. Best for safekeeping. I don't
Or
want to
like-
use it, but I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah. I'll try to.
And I mean like in a 360-degree way. It spreads.
Yeah.
I'll try to pass it over very discreetly.
Yep.
Easily enough. I mean,
Yeah.
you can do that. You
I'll just put
definitely.
it in his pocket with a fist.
Now that most of the people have like exfiltrated from this area, it is more cavernous and hollow, meaning that more echoing sounds are able to bounce off of the walls because they don't get that type of dispersion. So you start to hear the
All right,
sounds
Bast. I go stand by Bast. I put my hand on my hip.
If we
I
were
stand there haughtily.
concealing like the ears at all at this point, like I would pull the hood down.
put your hair behind your ears.
I
You
would
got it.
try to hide, but I am a halfling, so it's not like they won't know exactly who I am.
Do you want to just hide behind one of these people?
Yeah, no.
Or
we're
do you
all
wanna,
going-
like,
I
go
don't
off
think
the
I
corner?
don't think that would really help at all. So I think
up to
we're going.
It's up to you. You tell me what.
No, we're going together. You know.
Okay. For full disclosure, you are keenly aware. Are you still wearing your robes?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're keenly aware that you're still wearing the robes.
Yeah.
If anybody would be able to recognize those types of things and have the
People
knowledge
from
of
the
what
before-
times were
from the
before,
Uh huh.
it would be these people.
Yeah.
Gives
Just-
him value.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's not a good idea. I'm just so that we're all just
Yep,
full
I know.
transparent with everything that's going on. Are y'all starting to just be like just waiting
Yep.
for the Harrier to arrive?
Yeah.
I'm very careful right now.
They owe us a favor, and I'm not gonna go as a prisoner. So
All right. They're descending. Can I run over to the nice clothes Maeve set out and just change into them and then run back over and put my old clothes on Osfer?
Oh, because I fixed up his, I sewed his clothes up while I was resting.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Yeah. Absolutely. Oscar, do you want to put on other clothes? Or do you
Wait,
want to
wouldn't
keep
they be
your
huge
order
up there?
clothes?
I mean,
They're robes now.
I would be in like a giant toga.
That's
It,
fine.
it would be like a 7-year-old wearing her dad's
Yeah,
clothes kind of feel.
I'm 3 foot tall.
You know how
It
they-
could just be like pieces of fabric that you wrap around.
I was gonna say,
yourself.
you know how like robes like people in like ancient Greece would wear. It's literally just like a basic just sheet of fabric, and they just like fold it in a way that makes it look kind of
It's also very kimono style too. It's oversized for you, but the way
Yeah.
it's folded and wrapped around
Yeah,
you,
sure.
it
I'll
fits
do one
you.
of those.
Can't
numbers, yeah.
hurt to
Lynn,
have, like,
that's not
dress
how you
reveal.
fold
Also, you're a
one of
monk.
these.
I'm gonna say you know how to fucking deal with fabric.
Also-
it's kind of like the whole flowy thing's your vibe. So yeah, absolutely, yeah. If you want to do that, so
Honestly,
you're no
we can make it
longer
look
wearing
pretty
your
good.
robes.
Just saying.
Well, it's on the outside, right? I'll just wrap it over.
So they do look. They were tattered, correct? The ones that you were kind of. So they look. You kind of fit in with the rest of the populace at this point.
I'm
yeah.
still wearing my robes, but
I
this
think
is
you're
on
the
top.
only one, right? Everyone else is still in their other.
I got my new threads on and kind of.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I'm getting it because all of this matters. There's a bunch of little gears moving. Are we good?
I never had a chance to change, so I would be in whatever we came here in.
I mean, you don't wear clothes on your top, so you just go full, skins, nipples out. You're ready to go.
I got a shark skin leather jerkin.
Right? Yeah, that you keep unzipped.
Yeah.
For sure. And
I
you're
have
like,
like
your
a-
board shorts that are like slits up the side, so you make sure you
my
can show
God.
off your thighs.
Cowabunga,
I mean,
dude.
I'm just referencing the actual picture that
Wait.
Mally drew.
Oh no, wait, Lynn, are we totally just doing the you've got your arms crossed, I'm like hands on hip, we're like
Like, well, it's
like
about
a-
time.
look who it is.
Disney Channel commercial. Like,
Yes.
It's like you
my
crashed
God.
my party. I was having
PBS
such a good
kids.
time. Ugh.
Don't do the fucking mouse thing. Don't do it to me. Oh, I thought I escaped. I thought I
whisper
escaped
under
the
my
mouse.
breath. Thanks for the clothes,
Don't you dare.
Apparently, I got tired of looking at the torn.
Okay, cool. So
but I haven't worn since.
if you guys are here and waiting, you're one of the
Can't
very
make some
few,
reason
if
watching
not
the Disney Channel.
Noticed.
some of the only people that are here when the Harrier, in all its radiant glory,
I can't remember.
appears, wings spread out wide, from the same type of cylinder that you had come down from where the elevator was, except it just slowly descends in a owl-like treading air motion and just slowly gazes and turns its periphery across the entirety of this domed tent city. Many tents have been taken down, or many people have left. Those that have remained that haven't been able to leave have hidden as best they can. The Harrier, the individual, this is a militant individual. This is not something that you want to get into a battle with. This is something that has been along for a very long time, with very strong armor, enforced by much magic, and by many authority. Pays no mind to the fact that there is an underground city. Pays no mind to, as you've heard been mentioned before, this domed city being tent city called the Hanging Nadirs. But just slowly scrolls and gazes upon, and you standing there rather uncharacteristically among the vignette of the city itself, it locks its gaze of helmet upon you. And it does not rush. It slowly descends. Again, it just all it's doing with its wings is preventing gravity from having any control over it whatsoever, other than letting it glide itself towards your way. Its hand firmly on a mace that appears to have a blade that comes through it all the way out to about the size of a long sword, jeweled around the hilt of the sword where the head of the flanged mace is, are sapphires and emeralds and rubies and jets. Radiant. As it glides before you and it remains 15 feet, 20 feet above you in a kind of diagonal fashion.
Servant of Ehrenbach, take us to your leader.
Nudge me.
No, that's you have to do this the right way.
Sorry, the customs. I
No
apologize.
worries. Hello. My name is Maverin Oriolor. I pull out a pendant. I am of the Oriolor family. I am a full-blooded high elf, and I do believe that was it Masha Ehrenbach owes me a favor. So please take me and my friends to their city.
You see it stare at you for what seems like an eternity, a moment that stretches on for years, decades, centuries. Its gaze, even though you can't see its eyes, the jewels that are encrusted upon this golden helmet, that where its eyes should be are deep, and you get lost in all of the facets of the reflections and kaleidoscopic visions within them. You feel that there's definitely something magic about this creature, not just the items and the relics that it holds, but just the fact that it exists, its ancientness, its age, its power, its prominence before you is undeniable. And it slowly reaches to its belt and holds out what looks like some sort of circlet or tiara to you. It is rather nondescript. It appears to be some sort of tarnished silver, maybe steel, you're not sure, with a uncut rose quartz, perhaps as its only gem upon the centerpiece where
Do
the
I
third
get
eye maybe.
celestial fiend undead
You're gonna pop divine sense.
from this creature?
You got it.
Do I get a funny smell?
It's a very good question, because like I've always like had a struggle between whether I'm defining like Anki-aligned platforms as undead, and they're so ambiguous. I'm so sorry how abilities don't always like plop in the way they. I think I'd like to kind of count them as undead, but you definitely feel there's just something a little off just because of the way they're animating bodies. And it could go either way depending on what's going on. I think you definitely sense undead, but what you definitely sense stronger is a strong, overwhelming sense of celestial. So much so that I don't think you're able to remain standing. It's such an immense amount
I
of...
went on my knees.
Yeah, but you're like, and this spiritual pressure causes you to go on all fours. Like you have to hold yourself up with the palms and the heels of your hand as you just feel the weight of something that is, as far as you understand, divinity.
Holy. Yeah.
Bast, you okay? 'Cause
Now-
I just saw him fall down.
Len, seeing him do this, you are supremely aware. One of the things that you were taught of, you don't even need to roll for this. You know this shit like the back of your fucking hand, because it's one of the first things that you were taught when it came down to this. There are some creatures. The night is dark and full of terrors, and there are some creatures here that are worshipped like gods. And the fact that they are worshipped gives them the power that they are not worthy of. And some are forced to bend the knee. You sense that type of feeling here. Whether this creature may be divinity, godly, it doesn't matter. The fact that it is given so much credence by those that remain makes it divine. You are pushed down. It hands the tiara to
Oh.
you. No speech. No
I
nothing.
stride over. I take
Sand
it,
slightly. You take it.
and I would like to look at it, investigate it real fast. Does it look familiar to me? Should I roll a history or something?
Very good question. I will say you can either roll a history or an arcana. History will tell you if it's familiar to you. Arcana will tell you if it's magical and what would
I'm
that mean.
gonna-
I want to know if history.
Okay, you got it.
As Maeve takes it, I'm also going to reflexively like get up, cast protection from good and evil on her.
You're going to cast a spell in the presence of this thing. Does it have somatic, vocal, or material components?
Let me look. Yes, all.
All of them? So you are obviously casting a spell in front of this thing. Are you okay with that? I'm not trying to divert you. I just want to make sure that that's just so I know what's happening.
Yeah, casting it on Maeve. It's a touch.
You got it. Protection from good and evil, correct? You motherfucking fucker. Okay. It will, without moving its body, and you see its wings freeze in place, but it remains to hover without flapping its wings, as its eyes, then kaleidoscopic within those gemstones, stare at you, like piercing you with a massive, powerful laser. You feel the heat in your sternum. You start to feel it bore through your chest. You're not being hurt mechanically, but you just feel it all the way through you. It starts to carve out your trauma and disintegrate it and see right through the core of yourself. It fully is aware of what you are doing. And
Do not hurt my family.
and allows you to do it. You say that.
Yes.
That's why it allows you to do it. You sense this massive, divine, predatory sense for like the split second of a moment. Maeve speaks up, and rather than it being predatory, it's just, I see everything kind of moment there. But it lets you do it. You have protection from good and evil. This is insane. Sure. What did you roll for your history?
8.
8.
I rolled very badly.
Should have paid more attention in class.
If I'm right next to me, would I see what it is?
Sure. History or Arcana. Unless you are shook by this.
I'm so gagged.
Then disadvantage, I would say.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair, right?
That's a 10.
10. It's not like it's like the back of your mind. It's that idea that's egging you at the back of your mind, that word that you can't quite come up with. It's not quite on the tip of your tongue, but it's one of those things where you're like, why can't I think of that? And it's going to bug you all day long. There's something familiar about this, but
Hey,
Not-
Oscar, can I have another roll inspiration?
I was literally just thinking that.
Oh,
Like, this might be really important.
it's
to
like
know
that
what this
weird way
is.
where it's not something that you think you've seen ever before, but it still feels like almost second person or third person, very familiar.
actually,
Like
can
almost
I,
a deja vu that you never experienced. I'm sorry.
Can
Go
I
ahead.
burn an inspiration to try that again?
If you have one.
I do. Let's try this again. Ah! Damn it.
Popping
Not
out.
counting that. Boo! 11.
11. You get the same type of feeling. It's odd. It's like there's something innate about this. You don't know why. You know. It's something you've never experienced before, although you're familiar with. It's like experiencing a deja vu from somebody else.
I take it and I put it on.
You take it and you put it on.
Yes.
You have protection from good and evil. Can you tell me, does it give advantage on like saving throws or?
Oh, we just
One willing creature you touch, they're protected from aberrations, celestials. So aberrations, celestials, elementals, fae, fiend, undead. They have disadvantage on attack rolls against Maeve, and they can't charm, frighten, or possess Maeve.
They can't
Yep.
charm, frighten,
Makes
or
you
possess
immune.
Maeve?
Yeah, the target cannot be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them.
Fucking fuck.
If they're already charmed, frightened, or possessed, then they get advantage on the save against it.
You put the tiara on,
Yes.
period.
and nothing happens.
Man, I'm gonna have words.
I ate the session up so good.
You did eat the shit out of this session. You put the tiara on. You feel like there's definitely a pressure that squeezes in on you, but you also feel this kind of eggshell around you that keeps it at bay.
Interesting.
The Harrier cocks its head at you.
And I stare it down.
It arches its head back, and you see it like almost as if it's going to scream in agony, and just like, but no sound comes from it. Just the bodily movements of that type of moil and toil, like a frustration or pain, you're not sure. And then it reaches out a hand.
We want to go with them, don't we?
I think so.
I grab Lynn by the hand.
We daisy chaining this?
Yes, we are.
Cool.
Lynn, do you? Likewise.
Oh, wait a
and
minute,
likewise.
wait a minute. Bast can't probably grab with one of his arms.
I'll be the end of
Maybe
the chain.
Bast goes on the end of the chain. Yeah. I've got enough strength. Okay, I can hold you up. I can
All
hold you
right. So, I grab Lynn by the hand. Lynn asks for Bast.
Yep.
Okay. You daisy chain each other, and you grab onto the hand. The hand.
And then I reach, yes.
You feel as though you kind of get that sense of when the dad of the person you're trying to date is trying to give you a very firm handshake to see if you can handle it. Sorry if that's not something that some people can't relate to, but there it is. But you feel that, and that eggshell is still around you, keeping that perfect type of physics. You see it try to squeeze, and it's just not getting through.
I'm gonna whisper to Maeve. Maeve, my magic might be protecting you. It lasts 10 minutes.
You got 10 minutes, B.
It definitely is.
Then you see it reach up onto its helmet, grab one of the ruby gemstones that is in the part of its eye, crush the gemstone in its hand, and scatter the dust in the air. And as it scatters the dust in the air, you see these tiny little particulates start to form, and they start to get bigger and start to warble. And you start to see these tiny little holes in like space-time that start to form until they start to spiral. And like bubbles that start to merge on the top of a foamed type of drink, they start to create this tear, bubble in space. And beyond this window, you see this beautiful red velvet rug that moves into this dimly lit chamber, candelabras and candles, vaulted chambers, flying Dutchmen, buttresses across the interior of what seems like a cathedral type interior of a grand hall, 2 stairways that go up, a throne, maybe, perhaps, or maybe not, you're not sure, off in the distance that materialize before you, and one heavy, solid, gold-plated green foot steps on the crimson rug that unfolds before you, a tear 10 feet above, and you feel the tug from the arm.
Oh, I stride through.
It is, the eye is fully
Oh,
missing.
is it? How big is this? Is it like a thing we can walk
It's about
through?
like a
or-
10-foot tall, 8-foot wide.
Yeah.
Fun with portals.
Time to make our
The
entrance.
queen walks down the red carpet,
Oh, yes. It's about time.
and her retinue follows.
Yes.
That's very the kind of feel you get. I will say, as each of you go through Daisy Chained, because it tries to lead you before it in a sense, and as soon as it like one passes through, it lets go of the last one. It seems to be waiting until the last of you pass through the portal. Each of you may roll, and this will be the last roll of the night, each of you may roll a perception check as you pass this creature that has pulled out a gemstone within its helm, its full helm, and have left an abscess that you can see through.
Does this involve smells or
Sight. This involves sight.
No.
18.
18,
11.
24?
13?
13. Bass, you're the only one that notices as you walk through. Beyond the helm, you see it reminds you of what you've seen when whales die and they fall to the bottom of the ocean and are then fed upon by all the bottom feeders with skeletal remains, like carcasses. The ocular orbit of a skull within a socket empty. The smell much far more subtle because you're used to being underwater, and that is spreads. It's far more potent and it spreads far longer. The smell of not quite decaying, but sour flesh.
I'm like a shark, parts per million, baby. That's all.
It's pretty much the idea. Like a skull under this helm,
Okay.
no eyes.
So, undead would be the feeling I get. But
gotta
I
ping
sense
for-
celestial.
You did sense undead
So
as
this
well,
is like
but the celestial was so much more powerful than the undead.
God
But you
of death.
definitely. So like you got celestial and undead from that.
Angel of death.
champion.
And that's the last glance as you see through it as
Fucking spooky.
it lets go and it lets the portal close behind it as you now stand on this very Castlevania type crimson rug that goes across the cathedral like estate. And all the bubbles kind of pop behind you and you're left in this dim light. The Harrier does not follow.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to end our session tonight.
Damn. Leo's
So
never gonna
much
beat us.
has happened. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. Thank you for supporting us, and thank you for watching. As always, stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Bye.